Zap termina eliminando a Jack. Igual queda solamente Diego por parte de repente. Sigue la presión baja de Jack. Se da cuenta que el otro jugador
What's good, everybody? We are here with the final night of the regular season Mobile Mayhem Spring Split, coming at you guys with some more fantastic games prior to the start of the quarters and semifinals, which are going to be starting next week. Tuesday, make sure you guys get your alarm set. It is going to be epic. But as always, we're joined by Denominate, and we are going to be covering tonight's action. Hope you guys are excited. We got a little bit of extra stuff on the line as well. So turns out Fnatic and OnePlus are going to be sponsoring both the playoffs and also the All-Star game for Mobile Mayhem Spring Split. That's going to add on $1,400 to the prize pool and add on a $600 prize pool for the All-Star game. So whereas previously the All-Star game had pretty much just been bragging rights, now there's a little bit extra on the line as well. So excited for all that, but obviously we do want to go ahead and hop into the matchups for tonight. We'll go ahead and take a look at our schedule real quick. You guys will see right here, Trovo Mayhem and F4 going to be matchup number 1, followed by Nova Invictus versus Zygnus. That's going to be a really solid one, but also Tribe Gaming versus 11T. Also, like, two really top-tier teams who've been going back and forth all season. Last but not least, we will have Zygnus Black versus Vitro. Day, which of these are you expecting to be our best matchup of the night?
I mean, I would think that Tribe versus 11T has the potential to be possibly the best, but depending on what Invictus shows up here tonight, I could definitely see Invictus versus Zygnus Elite being pretty solid too. I also think Mayhem versus F4 may be a little bit slept on. F4 have a history of kind of showing up when we least expect them to. So I would say in that order is probably the best matchups of the night. As far as Zygnus Black versus Vitro, no disrespect to Vitro, but I expect that to be a pretty easy 2-0 victory for Zygnus Black.
Yep.
So.
Well, we'll go ahead and run through the maps and bans real quick before we hop into this one, and very interesting choices here. We don't have a ban on the QQ9 or the PP19, so we got a DRH for Trovo Mayhem and the HVK ban for F4. It is going to be SMG spam out the wazoo. I'm kind of curious which of them is going to end up being the more dominant one. I've got a feeling, given that we got Hackney Yard Hardpoint, we're probably going to see more PP19s because it does have a little more versatility in the long range, and there's some longer angles as compared to a map like Standoff. Firing range, Search and Destroy. Obviously, in Search and Destroy, it's all about time to kill, so probably going to see more QQ9s over there. And then Raid Domination, going to be the last one. I would guess probably a decent mix between the two. But it does look like we got all of our players loaded in and ready to go, which means we are good to start with game number 1.
Does look like we're going to be getting into it, and, you know, this is one of the matches that, as I was saying at the beginning, I think has potential to be very good. Specifically, if Engenic has a bit better of a performance. I mean, overall, we saw F4 on Tuesday, and we had several players actually doing great. We had a couple players in the respawn performing pretty mediocre. And, you know, Engenic definitely being one of those. Again, not to throw shade here. Everybody can have a bad day. But Engenic did kick through pretty strong for the team in Search and Destroy. So if we can get a little bit more consistency out of him here tonight, while it doesn't matter as F4 cannot get into the quarterfinals, I would at least to see a good game out of these guys. Again, I think they have the talent and the potential to do so, specifically looking at Minwoo and Fusion has actually been pretty well for them as well. I will say we are missing one of our kind of star players, or one of the upper level players for F4, at least in my opinion for them this season has been AO Raf. And we do not have him, as well as Modzy has been another player that's been pretty solid for them, and we don't have him as well. So we will have to see how things go.
Yeah, over on the kill side, it's a solid start for Trovo Mayhem, but it is actually a decent amount of time going in for F4, and they've got the setup on to P2 right here as well. We do have Leon already up at 8 kills right now. He's been going in. It looks like they have been able to clear off that point. Jesus saves you. Going to be able to deliver some beams from that top side, and that's really where the PP19 is going to thrive. Whenever you have those small angles, a lot of players are going to be forced through. You can really just continue to spray in because it's so consistent at range. Just absolutely shreds. Leon finally gets taken down. 10 kills on the board already for him. Players pushing up and in. Fusion's not going to be able to win the gunfight. Jesus saves you, slides into the corner. Tectonic with the triple right there to save his teammates, and that's going to allow them to maintain control right here. A pretty solid push going in for F4, but just a little bit too much gun skill over here on Trovo Mayhem, and they do finally push up. They get the break, but with only about 15 seconds remaining, not a whole lot of value coming in for this one. And that's also going to allow Trovo Mayhem to go ahead and set up over on P3.
Fusion with actually a pretty big double kill there onto Tectonic and onto Little B. May give them a little bit of ground their rotations, but does look like we have Trovo Mayhem on the hard point, as well as clearing their way out through mid here. This is I would say one of the better maps as far as the respawns go since we had the update to the hardpoint respawns. So this is a pretty rough matchup for the side of F4. I definitely think that they still have potential, especially if they're able to pull together through in this game. But some of the closer respawns almost are more favorable to the team with lesser gun skill, because quite often, or rather more often than not, it is basically a second opportunity for you to get on point after a lost gunfight. So definitely something to consider. You have a rotation onto Fusion that's going to get the kill on to Little B. Can't find the other kill on to Leon. Going to chunk him down to quite low, but still a pretty close game. I mean, we're sitting about 30 points currently on the side of Trovo Mayhem, or 30 points up. And F4 are still absolutely in this.
Yeah, rather F4 has done a really good job of not necessarily being early on the rotations, but their breaks have looked really clean so far whenever they have been able to get into the point. Typically, they don't really tend to give it back. So if they can manage to get those breaks a little bit early, they might actually stand a shot at taking a lead right here. We do actually see Trovo Mayhem pushing in, getting a break, as it was F4 with control heading on in here. And a triple in the feed is going to be really big for Trovo Mayhem. Leon and E-Molly. I'm used to calling him E-Molly. He might prefer Molly now, but those two combined for 33 kills right now. 16 and 17 respectively for them. They're definitely having a fantastic performance, not to take anything away from the rest of the teammates, but obviously the players down at 5 kills over on F4, a big reason why they haven't quite been able to make any type of a comeback yet. Molly gonna slide the corner right there. Engenic is able to win. He was one of those players struggling with only a couple kills on the board, but they're able to get the initial control, it looks like. We do have Little B up in the top side, able to get 1 kill right there, not able to get the second one, and that will allow F4, at least for right now, to have the high ground advantage and players pushing in from the surrounding area. Little B's going to drop off once again. Molly trying to push in. Tectonic on the outside as well. Not going to be able to win the gunfight. Molly slides the corner. There's a mean head glitch right there. Not easy to take someone off of. Dylan's holding it down. Only 10 kills on the board, but somehow F4 still able to hold this one down. Minwoo slides the corner, wins the gunfight just like that. F4 gets the break onto P5. The nades left and right. Absolute chaos right here. If I had to guess, probably not a whole lot of time going in for either team on this hard point in particular.
So far, it actually looks like Trovo Mayhem might get the better half of that point. They are now leading over 50 points, so pretty solid on them. We do have Fusion dropping down the stairs, contesting the last couple seconds, but is going to challenge Jesus on the head glitch there. That's going to give Jesus Saves You a nice little triple kill in the feed, as Trovo Mayhem as a whole actually start filling up the feed. Fusion is making his rotation over. Fine Tectonic. That one is pretty big. This is an early break for F4. This is kind of what you were talking about a little bit earlier, Bobby, is that when they have made the break, they haven't given it up too easy. But man, Molly comes through with a huge double onto Ingenic and Fusion. And Minwoo doing his best to keep up. 1 kill behind Molly currently. 23 on the board for him, as he does get dropped by Molly, actually.
Yeah, and it's not too often that we see Little B and Tectonic toward the bottom of the leaderboard for Trovo Mayhem, but just haven't quite been able to pick things up so far. If I had to guess, that's probably in large part due to them using those LKs, and I've got a feeling that's probably more for practice than anything else. It seems like if they were going purely for the statistical advantage, they would likely be using the PP19 or the QQ9, but I think probably to a certain degree this is them preparing for the matchups that they're going to have next week as they do move on into the quarterfinals, and they're making it work for right now. So going up against a gun that kills as fast as a QQ9 or something that has the magazine size of PP19, not easy to contend with for a mid-damage assault rifle, but they're making it work for the time being as they are currently occupying the hard point right now. Minwoo taking some shots in, pulls out the deagle, gets the first kill, not able to get the second one. Little B stays alive for the time being, but Ingenic pushes up, does manage to get the break for F4, and it looks like they're going to once again be able to close that gap a little bit.
Yeah, this is was getting really close to a 100-point game, but as you mentioned, F4 have done a great job closing that gap a little bit. It's about 40 between these two teams right now. Fusion peeks out from behind the moving van there, just gets absolutely obliterated as 3 people from Trovo Mayhem were looking right at him. Molly leading all players currently, 30 kills on the board. Leon not too far behind with 26. We don't have any Nero today from Trovo Mayhem, who has primarily been their main objective player, so that is definitely something to keep in mind as well. As we are looking at the score ticking up. Of course, I can't see people's score as far as time on the hill currently.
Oh my gosh. What a feed right there for Emal. It was just beaming from every range possible. I think there was a little streak right there where he didn't really miss a single shot. Going to go ahead and call in a cluster strike right there, and that's definitely going to make it pretty easy for them to hold down that hard point for the time being, as F4 is trying to get the break. I believe it is Tectonic holding down that hard point, but players left and right, it's going to be Dylan pushing on in, immediately eliminated from the hard point, but with Fusion with high ground in the surrounding area as well. Going to be able to take out Little B, and with him and Ingenic up there, they could potentially have the ability to set up pretty well for the rotation into P4. We do see Molly and Leon both continuing to pop off. Molly with 38 on the board with that double kill coming in from the Pred right there, and that's going to make things really tough on the rotations for F4 right here. Leon waiting for somebody to round the corner, not going to find it. Ingenic with the frag from behind, and just like that, the lead that Trovo Mayhem had built starting to dwindle a little bit as we get another break going in for F4.
Yeah, but Trovo Mayhem are still in a really comfortable spot. They're only about 25 points away from picking up the win. Which means they don't need a full hardpoint hold, although half of one would be enough for them to pick to the victory. Even getting, 10 or 15 seconds of trickle time at the beginning or end of a hardpoint is really going to start to add up and stack against F4, who, again, I think is actually putting up a good fight here up against Trovo Mayhem. You could definitely say, this would have been expected to be a little bit more in favor of Trovo Mayhem, but they have had the better breaks, but F4, again, not going down without a fight whatsoever. That was a pretty sizable hold for the side of them, for the side of F4 there at the end, but they need to get this rotation down. Again, within 10 points for the side of Trovo Mayhem. All of this trickle is inching them closer and closer, but very, very quickly here, we have a break coming out of F4. Fusion body blocked on the staircase a little bit there, but is going to be able to make the rotation out. Trades 1 for 1, and gets a pretty amazing respawn, honestly. This is a great spot for him to be in, and this could potentially be a full hold potential from the side of F4. We do actually have a double kill coming through from Trovo Mayhem there. Brilliant frag by Lil B. Able to pick up that kill, and Trovo Mayhem looking to make the break once again. Curves fighting on the head glitch, is able to survive and pick up a kill there, and this is a giant hold by the side of F4.
Yeah, this is actually phenomenal for them. We saw a couple of huge plays where it looked like either Little B or Tectonic was going to be able to get the break. Tectonic able to hop in that top window, get control, but unfortunately for them, he's eliminated immediately, but they do have a really, really good setup on this hard point. And I don't anticipate that within 7 seconds we'll see F4 breaking on in right here. It's going to take a amazing segment of crazy gunfights for it to make it happen. And with a triple going in for Trovo Mayhem right there, that's going to allow them to close it out at 250 to 221. And they will take the win in game number 1 against F4.
It was almost a really good comeback by the side of F4, but again, this is exactly what I was talking about at the beginning of the broadcast, Bobby, that this could turn out to be a really good game, because while F4 hasn't found the success that some of the top teams have, they've always had surprisingly close games. So they put up a great fight here. Minwoo, 41 kills on the board, but from there it heavily drops off. Next on the team would be Ingenic with 26, so glad he showed up a little bit stronger here today. And I definitely think that's part of what made this a 250 to 221 win for Trovo Mayhem. But arguably, on the side of Trovo Mayhem, the kills also drop off pretty heavily from Molly at 42, and they duck down to Little B at 31, Jesus Saves You at 30, Leon with 34. So almost a 10 kill drop across the board for Trovo Mayhem as well. So across the board, Trovo Mayhem did just a little bit better. And again, in a 29-point game, a little bit better is all you need.
Yeah, definitely a solid performance for Trovo Mayhem. They were actually, if I did my math right, plus 32 in the kill department. So definitely on the slaying side did a good job. Would like to see them get their holds down a little bit more solid. I think they did a pretty good job of getting the rotations relatively early. There were a couple of situations, like especially on that P5 hold that F4 had. I think to a certain degree that was just F4 doing a really good job winning their gunfights, holding head glitches and everything else. But definitely a well-fought battle between both teams. We are getting ready to hop into Search and Destroy on firing range. And obviously, Sniper's going to play a big role there. We got Little B over on Trovo Mayhem. And for F4, I'm not sure. I think it might be Fusion. I think Fusion has sniped for them in the past. I'm not sure if he will be continuing to do so, but definitely two players to keep an eye on here as we get ready to hop into game 2.
I do believe you are correct. I believe Fusion, when we've seen him, has been the sniper, but again, this is one of those teams that we've seen players here and there pick up the sniper, as well as even just completely go without. So we will have to see what their strategy for Search and Destroy is here. Does look like we have a dropout for Trovo Mayhem. Not sure if that's going to be a substitution yet, or if that's going to be just a player reconnecting, as well as we have Ingenic dipping out currently, who, again, has been a much stronger player in Search and Destroy than in Respawn, so I wouldn't like to see him out, but We do have AO Raph coming in, and I believe we've actually seen him snipe a bit in the past too. If I remember correctly, you know, maybe that's Rihan I'm thinking about actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe Raph is a SMG primary for the
Yeah.
majority of the time, so.
Yeah, I think I got him confused with Rihan.
Yeah. Could potentially see some substitutions for Trovo Mayhem as well. We had Leon hopping out. Leon's really been, especially since he's made his entry into the lineup, he wasn't playing with them at the beginning of the season, and it definitely felt like his entry into the lineup was what solidified them as a team. I think both him and Nero have played a really big role in allowing them to be a little bit more consistent. So I would be surprised if he's hopping out and not playing. If I had to guess, probably just a device restart or something else. But we will have to wait and see. We do have, taking a look at a couple other things. We do have our MVP, Sniper of the Split, and Rookie of the Split award nominations. We won't cover those quite yet.
Legacy.
Oh, that's interesting. Legacy being substituted for Leon right there. Not a player that we've seen really around too much ever since Leon has made his entry into the lineup. Typically, it has been either Leon or Nero in his place, but they could potentially be trying some different things out as far as search and destroy lineups, seeing if chemistry changes a little bit just based off different roles and things. So I'm interested to see how this one's going to play.
Yeah, definitely should be a good one. Again, that first matchup was pretty close for F4. They almost made a really sizable comeback. Again, being down 100 points at one point to come into a 29-point loss is pretty solid. Obviously, we'll have Lil B sniping here on the side of Trovo Mayhem. He's been their primary sniper all season long, as well as, again, in my opinion, definitely one of the players that has a good chance of picking up Sniper of the Split should he have made nomination, which, again, with his performance, I'm sure that will end up being the case. Does look like we have Curves, actually, with the Sniper out on the side of F4 currently. Raph and Fusion, each with a QQ9 and a PP19.
Yeah, right now, Little B trying to find first blood, not able to spot anybody on the inside of Trailer. I think he might have been trying to pick up aim assist through that wall right there and just wasn't quite able to find it. We do have Fusion up in the top of 10, holding down those angles and curves, very content to sit on the inside of America and hope that he catches somebody on the cross, but it looks like everybody for Trovo Mayhem making that cross through bathrooms. It's actually going to be Raph finding the first blood onto Legacy for Trovo Mayhem. Little B has pushed his way up toward the A side bomb, and with one player inside Trailer, they might be able to establish position right here. Curves is still on the inside of American, so Little B might be able to find an angle, but Minwoo's going to peek. What a quick scope right there. Minwoo's able to take out Molly, but Little B with the return fire. Jesus saves you. Able to take out Raph there as well, but Dylan will drop Jesus saves you with the trade. So Little B in a tough spot. He does have the trophy system, but he misses the quick scope. It looked like it was perfectly lined up. The second one is two players drop for F4 right here. Dylan all by himself. Little B tries to hit the quick scope again. He's got the head glitch to work with in all the advantage. I believe that was a concussion nade going out right there. Maybe a flashbang. Little B very content to hold that angle, and obviously Tectonic over on the long side of the bomb just in case he does get taken out. What a quick scope to finish it off right there as well. Dylan drops Little B with a beautiful round one.
I don't know if my game was bugging out or something there, but it looked like Little B had two snipers. I was pretty confused. He had at some
oh
my goodness.
Gosh. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call the flow state. Another huge pick for him, and that's 4 kills for the first 6 total kills of the game.
Yeah, definitely can't complain about that if you are Trovo Mayhem. Again, he has been one of their stronger search and destroy players. Again, filling that sniper role, those kills. Not only has he put up big numbers, but those kills quite often carry just additional weight. You know, especially on an example there, getting the opening pick onto Curves just 2 seconds into the game. Gives your team a whole lot of comfort in their push. They know at that point, you know, if your team rushes in, a 1-for-1 trade is always going to be the better outcome for you. Jesus saves you, finds a double. Legacy finds a double, and that's going to be a entirely clean round for the side of Trovo Mayhem.
Yeah, those 4 kills went in so fast, if you blinked, you might not have quite noticed them, but obviously the 2-0 lead, Trovo Mayhem looking a little bit more comfortable in the search and destroy than they did in the respawns. Only 3 kills going in so far for F4, and this time the trademark aggressive search and destroy push going in for them. They send everybody into the A site, pre-firing the corners over into trailer, and that's going to be an easy plant going in for them. Now the pressure is on for F4 to get the retake right here. Little B still holding down that bomb head glitch. The nade actually goes in, chunks him pretty big. He's going to be taking out Curves with the sniper. Finally able to land one right there, but he's still got 3 more players to contend with. Tried to hit the floor bang or the stair bang onto Molly, and he's just not able to make it happen right now. Tectonic waiting, but Molly's there to take out the final one as well. And that's going to be 3 rounds in a row going in for Trovo Mayhem.
Yeah, definitely not a great position to be in for F4. I mean, again, going into this matchup, they are out, just in the sense that no matter what happens at this point, they weren't going to make it into the quarterfinals. They're pretty much, at this point, playing as an advertisement, almost like a, hey, this is what we have for next season, whether it's as a team, or whether it's individual players who may be looking around. I mean, I think that on the lower spectrum of teams, I think there's a lot of standout players that really could have a lot of potential in an upcoming season. You know, just off the top of my head, looking at the likes of Jusabot, Sly, Minwoo, Sleepyhead. I mean, we could see a team of those guys playing together next season. It's kind of hard to say. We'll see when we get there, but right now it's looking like possibly, oh, well, maybe not a Trovo Mayhem round 4 win. Curves picking up the double there. He does have bombed down. I don't know if he quite knows that he has bombed down. Or is it planted?
I also don't think that he knows that Tectonic's just sneaking around right below him. Oh, but the COD timing! Tectonic doesn't see him jump down right as he goes past the doorway right there. And the 2 players seem to be completely unaware. Oh, and that's going to be an easy shot for Curves. Oh, that timing could not have been any worse for Tectonic, and F4 going to be able to take the round because of it.
Yeah, that was definitely rough, and honestly, Curves played that just phenomenally. Had bomb down at B, was able to camp on out, knew he had time. Tectonic went to plant the bomb, he heard the bomb plant coming through, and picked up the easy kill. And that is going to be the first round going over to F4 out of 4 rounds so far, but we have a very fast A plant coming out of Emali currently. And that is now 40 seconds on the clock, where 4 kills need to be picked up by F4, make it 3 as Curves and Minwoo each pick up a kill there. And what was looking good for Trovo Mayhem could start falling apart as Curves finds a 3rd kill for them this round. Oh man, man, big plays from F4 there.
Yeah, Curves has really started to pick things up, and it really started when Jesus Saves You and Legacy basically just lined up for a clean 2-piece over the bomb heady when he was camped out in top of 10 to close out that round, and he was actually, now that I think about it, I guess it was actually a 1v3, and we just didn't really think all that much of it because they just kind of lined up for the kills for him. But 2 rounds in a row, gonna go in for F4 right there, and they're definitely staying in this game right now, as they now have Curves trying to hold down these long angles as they make the push on into B. Unfortunate timing. Jesus saves, trying to slide on through. Nades going in, a whole lot of utility. Cryo bombs getting destroyed. Molly does get the first blood on diffusion, and Curves going to have to run past the nade right there. Little B set up on the opposite side. Not going to have the angle quite yet. Little B gets one on the raft, but Minwoo with the refrag right there. 2 players remain for each team. Legacy and Tectonic trying to make something happen, but Curves too clean with the snipes right now. Tectonic taking shots as well from Minwoo, and just like that, F4 going to be able to tie things up at 3-3.
Yeah, F4, you know, possibly could push us to a game 3 here. Again, they have a history of showing up when we least expect them to. And right now, Curves specifically showing up in a big way. 8 kills on the board for him. Gets the better half in the sniper trade with Lil B there. Minwoo as well, 8 kills on the board for him. Just between the two of them, I mean, honestly, keeping them in the game. Look at the side of Trovo Mayhem. A bit more even across the board. 6-6 against 6 for Molly, Legacy, Lil B. Jesus Saves You with 4 and Tectonic with 3. I'm a little shocked. I mean, I guess actually Jesus Saves You probably picked it up from Lil B after he got killed at the start. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
Curves.
yep.
I mean, Curves able to find another one right there. A sniper in the hands of Jesus Saves You. He's not going to be able to hit the initial shot onto, I believe that was Curves over the bomb head glitch again, and it's 4 rounds in a row going in right here for F4, and they've just absolutely come alive. Very much in part to the performances from Curves and Minwoo, those two combining for 18 through the first 7 rounds. And I think, the most kills that anybody on either, or on their entire roster had after round 2 was, I think, 2 kills. So for them to pick up that many in such a short period of time, definitely not anything to scoff at. It is going to be Tectonic finding first blood, but we've seen that happen a couple times for Trovo Mayhem, and they just haven't been able to capitalize. But with Molly taking out Fusion right there, you got to think they've got a little bit better chance at closing this round out, and they really desperately need it. As it seems like things are kind of falling apart in the search and destroy with Curves dropping. You got to think their chances of winning are pretty high right now, as Raph and Dylan going to be the only ones remaining. Raph is able to find a frag onto Little B, but it's still a 2v4. Perfect hop out from Dylan right there. Gets 1, not able to make it more though. Molly gets the refrag, and that's going to tie things up at 4-4.
Yeah, definitely a much closer game than I think many would have expected coming on into today, but F4 doing a great job giving us a exciting one to watch right in the open. As well as obviously credit to Trovo Mayhem for doing the same. 9 kills on the board for Molly, which is tied up with Curves and Minwoo. A couple trades coming up back and forth, but Legacy and Molly finding the 3 for 2 or 3 for 1, and Little B following up on Fusion. Now Minwoo all alone, who picks up kill number 10. And with bomb down, this is definitely not a good spot for Minwoo to be in. Needs to either find 3 kills or somehow sneak into the Viper nest over here and get a bomb out, which probably won't happen, but we will see.
Yeah, I think Minwoo is going to be able to sneak across, but obviously Molly right there, not letting anything pass. Got that PP19, holding down those angles. Probably going to go here and check on the inside. He just decides, yeah, not really worth it. I think I'll keep my head glitch for now and make him make the push on in. Minwoo checks the back angle right there. He's actually going to get spotted out by Legacy. 2 rounds in a row going in for Trovo Mayhem. Absolutely what they needed to retake the lead and put them 1 round away from closing out the 2-0. Would definitely be a really solid season, or solid finish to the season for them. So we'll see what they can muster right here, as we do have now Legacy, who we didn't really expect to see a ton out of just because he hadn't played with the roster all that much, in double digits alongside E-Molly. So the typical star players in Little B and Tectonic not necessarily having bad games, but some of the support crew, I guess, managing to find some big kills, as we do have very, very slow push for F4 off the start.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to be playing it a little bit more cautious. We're now 1 round away from a Trovo Mayhem win. And, oh, Curve sees the foot. Tectonic doesn't know he's getting shot at, and the wall bang going to come through onto Tectonic. Curve's making good use out of the stopping power there on the Locust.
Oh, Little B's ready for it. Oh, it looked like he had the pistol out, but I believe that was actually a sniper. He one-shots Minwoo right there. That's going to be immediate revenge for that first blood, and Legacy is on the flank big time. They're trying to push in, but they're getting dropped left and right. Curve's the only player left, and wow, The end was so quick, I couldn't even catch who was finding the kills. Trovo Mayhem bounces back after a really rough mid-game. So they win rounds 1 through 3. Then they lose rounds 4 through 7. And then they win the last 3. So definitely not ideal fashion, but whatever it takes to get the win, that will give them the 2-0 victory to close out the season.
Yeah, and a honestly huge performance for both Molly and Legacy there. 11-5 and 10-5. Coming out of late additions to the team and/or sub players to the team. I think no surprise on the side of F4. Minwoo at the top, 10-8. Curbs not too far behind, had a really strong performance today on the main sniper position for the team at 10-6. Definitely didn't have AO Raph perform as well as I would have liked to see. Him being, in my opinion, one of the stronger players on the team. We have kind of seen some spotty presence from him the past couple weeks. Sometimes he's not here. Sometimes, life happens and you can't make it. So not sure if maybe some of the break rubbed off on him a little bit hard, but it is going to be a 6-4 Trovo Mayhem win.
Yep. I do apologize, everybody. We are dropping frames right now, and I don't really know why. It's just my internet speed sucks right now for some reason. So hopefully that fixes itself pretty soon here. But that rounds out game number 1 and gets us ready for game number 2. We do have an interview for you guys that we'll go ahead and take a look at part 1. So we'll go ahead and hop into that. It's actually with Meralta, who is not currently on a competitive team for Call of Duty Mobile, at least in Mobile Mayhem, but was one of the players for XSET, which was the number 2 team in NA for NA Champs 2020. So we'll go ahead and hop into part 1 of that interview. And hopefully by the time we get back, we'll have our players loaded up and ready to go for game 2.
All right, for this week's Mobile Mayhem interview, we've got Meralta. Thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, good to be here.
And unique to this interview, obviously, Meralta is a free agent right now, so he's not on one of the Mobile Mayhem teams. But can you tell us a little bit about your competitive history with COD Mobile?
I've been in Mobile Mayhem for a while. Prior to really, I guess, being in the competitive scene, I was more like a ranked warrior. I just sort of made a team with my friends and sort of worked my way up, I guess you could say. I found a good group of friends to play with in Champs. We were XSET or status quo before we even got signed. We're a good team. And unfortunately, everyone from that team is gone now, so I don't really have anyone to play with.
Yeah, and I mean, XSET is still out there, right? As an organization. Yeah,
they are.
So I think what's interesting is that and what a lot of people don't necessarily realize is that as these teams go through a life cycle, lots of players transition in and out and move from team to team. And, there's different rule sets with age requirements in World Championships versus Mobile Mayhem versus individual events, And so there's a lot of dynamic player movement with those teams, especially year over year now that we've seen.
Of course, yes. And I mean, yeah, the game is still pretty early in its life cycle too, so it's going to be a while before we see set rosters of people that are going to last throughout, for years and years to come.
Yeah, I think that's something that's interesting for people that like to watch Mobile Mayhem, want to see how those stage 3, 4 goes for World Championships. Is it's exciting to see who's on what team as much as it is to see how some of those teams do, right? Because Tribe this year is a little bit different than Tribe last year, and they're obviously a favorite in North America, having accomplished that last year. But it's a different team slightly, and as those players shift around and different players like you go into kind of free agency, it definitely has an effect on who's got what advantage. So I think it's an interesting factor to watch in gaming for sure.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely.
So going back before COD Mobile, what was as early as you can remember the first video game you played?
First video game was probably Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Game Boy Advance. Yeah.
that nails you to a specific generational timeline.
Yeah. I think it was like Pokemon, like Sapphire or something. It was a game I played it like all the time.
What were you playing
but,
it on?
It was on a Game Boy Advance, one of those
Ooh,
small like
nice.
blue bricks. Yeah, but unfortunately, I think I like left it on a plane or something. So I lost it when I was young. But
So what
it's
was
the first
your
memory I have?
what was your first experience with the Call of Duty series?
It was COD Mobile. It was 2019. Yeah, October 2019 when the game first released. Was when I started playing.
So
So
is this the first game that you've played competitively?
yes, I haven't played. I mean, like I've played some sports competitively, but that's not the same thing, obviously.
No.
So,
Yeah, that's
not video games.
I'm always interested to see how different people come into competition in COD Mobile, because I think it's a minority of people who pick up Call of Duty Mobile as their first in the series and enjoy it, and then go hard in rank and transition from like rank warrior, like you said, into that competitive environment. Whereas a lot of people come from PUBG competition. If you've got a few more years on you, you come from like those Black Ops 2 days of finding those competitive scrims and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see the pathways that people make it to. What got you interested to be competitive in COD Mobile? Was it just trying to find something more challenging than ranked?
Well, partly that, yes. I mean, I didn't really know about anything competitive in terms of video games in general, to be honest with you. I mean, I played like some CS:GO back in the day, so like I was sort of familiar with like the pros in that scene, but I didn't think that was something that happened in every game.
Yeah.
I didn't really know about it, but I stumbled on a video from, I think it was Tectonic originally. It was actually one of his like first videos, just like grinding pubs to get better in competitive. It's like, competitive? What's competitive?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was. He was really the one that got me into it. Then I like started watching Little B and a bunch of the OG tribe members that don't even play the game anymore. So yeah, that's really how I got interested.
You got to be careful. Little B's going to ask you if you want an autograph next time you talk.
Hey, I mean, I'm not saying no.
That's funny, man. Yeah, I mean, that like how you kind of make your way into the competitive scene. It's always interesting to see that there's so many different pathways, when, and really that should go to kind of hopefully inspire some people who are getting a little bit bored with ranked, maybe find those Discord servers and see if you can get in some scrims and challenge yourself instead of making angry tweets about how the developers need to fix their game.
Right, at PlayCon Mobile.
Yeah.
This game.
Oh, that's funny. So you said you started playing. You put together a team of friends, like real world friends, and you did that for World Championships?
Oh, well, not for World Championships. That was like my first team that nobody even knows about. It's just friends, really. And I ended up leaving them for some organization at the time that we'd like scrimmed against, and I did pretty well. They were interested in picking me up, so I left that other team of mine. I went to this org, and then they disbanded, and I found another team. It's just kind of a cycle of going between rosters until I found the World Championship one. So
cool.
All right. Well, thank you, Mod6 and Meralto, for part one of our interview. Obviously, we'll have the second part later on today. Go ahead and take a look at our schedule once again. As I would say, we do have one of our better matchups of the night, Nova Invictus versus Zygnus Main for our second game. We do have most of our Zygnus players loaded in, and it looks like Nova hopping in here as well. So Nova is a team that's been very up and down throughout the season. They had a really solid beginning of the season, struggled a lot in the middle, looked really good on Tuesday, but there were also just some situations where it seemed like they should have played better than they did. Going up against a Zygnus team that has pretty much been at the top of their game for the entirety of the season, and actually was the first team to win a match against Tribe Gaming in the past 2 seasons of Mobile Mayhem. So you got to think this is either the number 1 or number 2 team in the league right now, and anybody that's able to topple them going to be pretty impressive. We do also see Coach Image hopping in for Nova, who has had some roster issues. No discredit to him. I'm sure he's a phenomenal coach, but typically doesn't really have the stats there as a player. So This is definitely something that I'm expecting is going to be a struggle for Nova as they do get ready to hop into this one. We'll take a look at the maps and bans real quick. We do have Hackney Yard Hardpoint for game number 1 once again. It's going to be Standoff, Search, and Destroy for game 2. And if we go to a game 3, Summit Domination. This time bans of the QQ9 and the DRH. So probably lots of PP19s and HVKs as we get ready to hop in to game 2.
It does look like we have all of our players in for each of these teams. Kind of no surprise on either of the lineups. Does look like we have Awaken and Irving joining us today for Zygnus. I would say Coach Image being here is surprising, but at the same time, they're locked into at least making it to the quarterfinals, so they kind of have that bit of cushion to them. But Invictus also has just had a history of not being able to maintain a consistent roster, so that is definitely something to consider for them as we move into next week's games. No matter what happens here, you definitely hope they bring a championship roster with them, and that their coach doesn't have to play at that point. So we will have to see from them. Nova did show up pretty big last week, put up some big kill numbers on the board, so we'll have to see if they're able to have a repeat with maybe a little bit more success. And I don't know. I think it has potential to be a good game, but I don't know. Having your coach playing against arguably the best team, not a great spot.
Yeah, and it was, I believe, on Hackney Yard Hardpoint where we saw Nova. Didn't they put up really big kill numbers and they still lost the hardpoint?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, they were plus 38 or something.
Yeah, that was definitely a massive missed opportunity for them on Tuesday, and you got to think the odds of them out-fragging Zygnus not super high, as we do see trades going in off the start. I believe Zygnus did get the better of the majority of those gunfights. We do have Irving with 2 kills chilling on the hill right now as Zygnus already moving upward. It's the backside that's going to go ahead and get pushed right now. It's actually going to... Oh, I thought that was Coach Image that got the initial kill right there. He hasn't been able to find any yet, but the rest of the players definitely off to a solid start. Is Desi with 3, Parrish with 2, Band with 3. Envy going to be able to find another one up top, and he's in pretty solid control of that top area of the main building. Get some shots on the Envoy. Not going to be able to win the gunfight, and definitely a little bit of a slow start for Zygnus right here, especially the amount of gun skill that we know this team has. Envoy not going to be able to win the second gunfight there. It is Tatio pushing in, getting the break, and we know the setup for P2 is a crucial one on this map. One of the tougher hard points to break, so we do see Zygnus wanting to get the rest of the scrap time, but their primary focus right now is probably going to be getting the push on over to P2, where Nova has a really good setup and is likely going to be able to capitalize on this big time.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see what we're able to pull together here. They have a small net lead currently. It does look like we have quite a few Zygnus kills in the feed. We're going to have to check out some of these respawns. It actually looks like a majority of Nova gets some pretty solid respawns, but even though Coach Image spawned a little bit out towards the middle, he got a spawn that was behind a couple of the Zygnus players, picks up a double kill for the team, and may really help them get the break back. And in fact, with the feed filling up, Desi with a giant triple kill is going to help the team with that retake, as well as likely get a big hold on the remaining time here. Definitely in the realm of it's not worth Zygnus fighting for this objective anymore. There's 10 seconds and they haven't even gotten close to making a break yet. So honestly, I think they're wasting time trying to push over there. Does look like with the hardpoint ending, there is going to be a little bit more of a defensive hold coming out of Zygnus. We now have Irving in the middle, peeking the head glitch there, picks up 1 before getting traded out by Parrish. And a couple kills going back and forth. Nobody on hardpoint yet, but it does look like Zygnus are going to get control, or at least initial control, and may be able to close the gap.
Yeah, Awaken with a solid hold right here as they are trying to move back into the positive. And, I mean, right now, if you look at the top of the scoreboard for Nova, Desi, Parrish, Band, all in double figures right there. There's nobody there for Zygnus. And even with Coach Image and Envy struggling as much as they are, they're still able to hold the lead. Probably the most surprising thing so far is S-Thug, up until just a second ago, only had 4 kills on the board. And I would argue he's probably the #1 contender for MVP of the split from Mobile Mayhem. So to see him struggling that much on a map that's usually been one of his best is very, very surprising. He is going to be able to slide the corner there, takes out Parrish. Already moving up to 8 kills right there, spots another player out as well, and he's starting to farm up right now. And if I had to guess, this is probably going to be what starts to turn the tides for Zygnus, as they have now been able to move into the positive right there. Not going to be able to get the 2-piece, but definitely another crucial gunfight and some additional damage going on top of that. Parrish pushing in, getting the initial control onto P4, but just like that, Tatio Irving finding huge frags left and right, and it looks like the consistency across the board for Zygnus doing a whole lot more than those 3 top fraggers right now for Nova.
Yeah, so far seems to be the case. Very close game between these two teams. Only under 10 points separating them currently, with about half of this hard point left. It does look like we're going to get a break from Nova, so they'll be able to, or a break from Zygnus, I mean. So they might be able to return the lead to their favor. They will tie it up there, and not a lot of time for them to take a lead, but they will get themselves a slight cushion on some trickle. Right now, Coach Image and Envoy, the only 2 players that are not in double digits currently, with Coach Image being at 4 and Envoy currently sitting at 9. So hopefully we'll be able to see a couple of these players step it up. Again, you can't really judge Coach Image too much, as I don't think at the beginning of the season you would have, or rather he would have expected to have to play so many games in the season. Ooh. And Zygnus are now first on point.
Yeah, we got Tatio starting to streak out right now, so he's able to get a Pred missile right there. Oh, he was 70 points off of a cluster strike. Pushed a little bit too far into the hard point. In that type of situation, I'd love for him to just go into that upstairs area to try to play slower for some of those frags and see if he can get a cluster, because on a map like this where you've got really long rotations and obvious angles where you can potentially cut off the other team, especially on like a rotation back into P1 where everybody's going to be focused on one specific side, that could have been a big opportunity for them. But fortunately for him, his teammate's going to be able to get the break for the scrap time right here, able to stop the one final Nova player trying to push in. Seems like a little bit of a late push for them, and surprised that they put that amount of effort into those last couple seconds, especially given the fact that we're going to go ahead and set up for P1. And really the setup for P1 is, in effect, the setup for P2 as well, because the way that you play this, the control that you're able to get on the map, is going to put you in position to get the hold on that one. So it's Nova continuing to move upward as they are first on the hill, and despite the struggles for Coach Image, only 6 kills on the board, they're still holding things down and got a 20-point lead.
Yeah, still very close game between these two teams. In fact, I would say it's closer than I would have expected it to be coming in. One of the biggest surprises, kind of as you mentioned a little bit earlier, S-Thug's seemingly a little bit behind where we would expect him to be at this stage of the game. Not only is he a contender for, contender, if not just like outright the fan favorite of potentially getting that MVP, this has also historically been his best map. So definitely feels different not seeing him putting up 40, 50 kills. But he is approaching 20 currently. There's still quite a bit of time left on the board. It would be a pretty big shock to me if Nova did come through with the win here. Again, that's not to diss any of these players. I actually think Nova has some incredible talent. But with Coach Image being down at 6 kills currently, we were talking about this earlier. Coach Image was at 4, Envoy was at 9. Envoy's now at 20, Coach Image is at 6. So pretty massive handicap on the side of Nova currently, but they're doing a great job otherwise. I mean they're almost at this point really a player down, and they're keeping up with arguably one of the best teams in the league. So
Yeah, right now we got Irving just got his cluster strike, and that is going to be huge for Zygnus. So he's got 2 score streaks ready to go. And with that happening, they're also able to retake the lead. Obviously, despite the slow push, they weren't really in established position to move over to P2. They were able to get the break and hold it magnificently. So he's got that cluster strike, and this is probably the most exposed hard point on the map. So if there's going to be a time to call it in, if you've got Nova players on the point, I would say probably full send it. We do have Coach Image down there waiting on the hard point, playing his OBJ to the best of his ability. Parrish continuing to frag out. He's going to try to get Envoy off right there, but not able to spot him. He's going to go ahead and cross map onto S-Thug. He has been frying all day long, and S-Thug still struggling a lot more than we've seen from him. Obviously, all players have bad days at one point or another, and it's all about how you still help to impact the team despite that. So a big push goes in once again. It is going to be Zygnus getting the break, and even when they haven't been good on their rotations, it seems like their breaks have been really, really clean. And with 30 kills on the board, Irving up top just being an absolute menace. Looks like they're going to be able to hold a decent amount of this final time, and that should put them only about 25 to 30 points away from closing this one out.
Yeah, and I'm definitely, again, glad to see Zygnus making the comeback, and this is not because I don't like Nova. But if Zygnus were to lose hardpoint to Nova not playing with even their main roster, that would certainly spike some questions in the sense that, again, this is the first team to beat Tribe, and it was in hardpoint. So, I mean, that's definitely a strength you would imagine Zygnus to have. Again, it being considerably or possibly S-Thug's best map. I'm a little disappointed that it was as close as it was, but I mean, Nova, they put up a great fight here. Several of the players really pushing hard on the kills. Their rotations were actually much tighter than I've seen out of them in several weeks at this point. So definitely a bit exciting to see them come through with the fire and trying to win there. Top fragging in the game is going to be Parrish with 41, 27, and 11. So a lot of that work coming out of him, helping the team get to where they were at. A bunch of the other players in the team slightly negative, but still there. I mean, Desi 31, 37, 16, Band 28, 38, Envy 19, 24. Again, if we didn't have the coach playing, I could maybe have felt like Nova had a chance. But I think, especially going into Search and Destroy, I think this is going to very rapidly become more and more in Zygnus' favor.
Yep, definitely not surprising to see Tatio up at the top, 38 and 22 right there. He's very quickly returned to his prime form, and that toward the end was the Zygnus that we are used to seeing, that even when maybe their fundamentals and rotations aren't quite as good, they're able to win those gunfights, and they started to come through more and more toward the end. We are getting ready to hop into Search and Destroy on Standoff. Obviously, we expect to see S-Thug sniping once again. A lot of times whenever we see a player like that have a bad game in a hardpoint, in a Search and Destroy, whatever it is, usually the next game's when we bounce back and have just a massive performance. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him really going in right here, especially since I would imagine he probably knows that he's a contender for not only MVP, but I believe he's one of our marksmen of the split contenders as well. I could be wrong on that one. I can't remember.
I mean, we have the nominations. If you want to run through them between games here real quick, we can.
Yeah, so as far as our nominees for MVP, nominees are for Tribe Gaming, Bolu, for Zygnus Elite S-Thug, for Zygnus Black Washi, 11T's Wiru, Invictus's Envy, Mayhem's Tectonic, Exiled Sleepyhead, Shreddit's Justabot, F4's Minwoo, and Vitro's Tomb. For Marksman of the Split, we do have... Okay, so we actually don't have S-Thug. We have Little B for Tropho Mayhem, Washi for Zygnus Black, also Fish for Zygnus Black, Bolu for Tribe, and Zai for 11T. And then last but not least, Rookie of the Split, We got Just a Bot for Shred It, Sleepyhead for Exiled, Diego for Aleventi, and Salai for Shred It as well. So there we go.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised in the fact that Wiro was the nomination from Aleventi. I mean, he's been their like a great search and destroy kind of ace. But I think overall Yuji has been possibly the most consistent player on the side of Aleventi.
Yeah.
So a little bit of shock there. I mean, I'm not saying Wiro doesn't deserve it, but just a little bit of a shock.
Yeah. Well, we just need one more player to ready up, and we'll be good to go for game number 2. Like you said, based off the way that one went, just not having a full starting roster, your team's always going to struggle, and especially against a team like Zygnus, who, even with a slow start, is able to bounce back as strong as they were. It's not going to be easy for them to come through right here. Anything is possible, and we saw them making some crazy plays both late last week and early this week. So we'll see if they can pull something out. But even though he's not a contender for Marksman of the Split, to be honest, I think S-Thug probably deserves to be. Not that Fish doesn't deserve to be, but when you can only have one sniper in play for one game of a series, to have 2 snipers nominated for one team is a little bit surprising. Now, Fish, don't get me wrong, he popped off whenever he did snipe, but I believe that was only one game for the entire season for Zygnus Black. So, interesting to see how that one shapes up. Might have been 2, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I would really say about S-Thug not being on here is that, I don't know, I guess he consistently is a good sniper for the team, but I don't know if he's necessarily comparably had the impact, and that could very well be because of the skill level of the team that he's working with just doesn't allow him to shine the same way the likes of Washi and Fish do, just in the sense that it's for Zygnus Black it is pretty handily carried by Washi and Fish every week.
Yeah.
So
it's true. Ban's going to be able to find one right there. He finds himself in a 1v2. Tatio has picked up the sniper. Ban not able to hit the shot onto Tatio, back of Tractor right there. Going to send the nade over top. It's actually going to hit, but didn't quite cook it long enough, and he gets a little too aggressive right here. Awaken is there with the AR in hand, and that is going to be round 1 going in for Zygnus. We did see a really big opening triple for Envoy, which opened things up pretty easily for them and allowed them to be able to chisel away at the rest of the players and get that first round. We do see Tatio, the lone defender here over on the A site, and not in a good spot, but somehow wins the gunfight anyway. That's definitely a big first blood for them once again. Obviously, Nova pushing in, getting the plant down. We do have a concussion going out, and that should be a free kill, but the refrag is there. I think Coach Image was completely concussed when he actually got that kill, but players sliding on in for Zygnus, and just like that, it's going to be a 2-0 lead for them.
yeah, Zygnus with the 2-0 lead to start. Again, not really anything out of the ordinary between these two teams. Obviously, we have the strong sniper presence capable on the side of Zygnus, but as well, looking over at the side of Nova. Again, playing with your coach, never going to be the most comfortable situation to be in, especially up against one of the best teams in Mobile Mayhem. So something to consider there. We actually did have a opening pick onto Envoy with a frag, so Envoy was top fragging for the team here today, as well as I believe he put up some of our best numbers for them on Tuesday as well. So one of those players that's consistently good, but usually in the middle of the pack, really having a good week 6 here in Mobile Mayhem.
Yep, we do have one frag in so far for Nova, but pretty slow push, and it accelerates quickly as Parrish finds 2 frags onto Zygnus right there. S-Thug and Tatio going to be the only remaining players. S-Thug has the angle, but not going to be able to capitalize. What a revolver shot onto Envy. That's going to put things into a 2v4 right here. He actually sees Parrish, hits the quick scope as well. Oh, can't make it happen as he drops onto Coach Image. Unfortunate timing right there. And Tio not going to be able to win the final gunfight. It is going to be Nova finding a round finally to move things to 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, this Nova team definitely still has a lot of potential that they could bring to the table here. Again, the opening pick onto Envoy was really solid by the side of Nova. I don't remember at this point who got the kill. I believe it was Desi, but I also don't want to take the credit away from someone else who may deserve it. So it just kind of is what it is there. But Nova, as you mentioned, stop a little bit of the momentum that Zygnus had going for them. Maybe it's enough to swing a couple extra rounds into their favor. And with them being on offense, you definitely would like to see it here, because once you allow Zygnus to dictate the speed of the game, it's going to get more increasingly difficult to you. Does look like we had Parrish was starting to challenge mid. Envy actually coming through mid there does get picked off by S-Thug, who has 5 kills on the board now. Envoy getting a kill on Parrish, Irving and Tio, and Irving, oh my goodness, holy crud.
And sometimes they just line up like that, and the round comes to a very abrupt finish as Zygnus takes another one right there. Definitely as expected, S-Thug popping off more than he did in the hard point. 5 kills for both him and Envoy. And right now, Nova trying to get something together, but it's going to be Irving with first blood once again. It looks like Fanny has made her way up into the room. She wants to be part of the stream, as well as Envoy finds another one right there. And things just not really going great for Nova right here. Desi's going to drop, Parrish going to drop. That's a 5-0 round, and that moves Zygnus to 4-1. She's in here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not a great spot for Nova to be in. I mean, again, at least they're locked into their quarterfinal spot. Today's games is, I mean, at this point, strictly about who plays who, right? Especially with Zygnus Esports looking like they're picking up the 2-0 win. That is going to 100% keep Zygnus Black from being able to take second place. So the remaining teams, for the most part, are pretty much playing for who's going to play who on Tuesday. The winner of those matches, obviously, respectively, will go on to face Tribe and Zygnus Esports on Thursday's games of next week. So definitely keep an eye out for the standings as we move on. And then, of course, at the end of the broadcast as well, we will obviously have the schedule for next week, which is currently TBD.
Yeah, it's a 5-1 lead for Zygnus as they look to close things out in a 2-0 once again. Envy, who interestingly enough is the MVP nominee for Nova. Outside of Coach Image, was their weakest player in Hardpoint, and right now laying a goose egg in Search and Destroy. He would love to find one right here, but he's going to get taken out, and wow, oh wow, did that round end quickly, and it's going to be a 6-1 victory for Zygnus to close things out in dominating fashion.
Yeah, again, not a super huge shock there that Zygnus were able to come through with the win. Again, I don't want to trash talk Coach Image, but he is obviously the coach. You know, we don't expect him to come through and have any sort of game-carrying performance. So my biggest hope for Nova at this point is you guys are a great team. In the hard point, definitely showed that you guys have the talent to be here and compete. I just hope you guys are able to get a roster squared away for our games next week. So that's been one of Nova's biggest struggles all season long, is having a playable roster. So, I mean, we've had, you know, obviously Lewis back on the team now. No Lewis today. Envy is here. We have 415 So, haven't seen him. Who I believe is back on the roster as well. So, I mean, just players that unfortunately are not here today. And again, they're players that you would certainly like to see, you know, specifically the likes of Hua. You would like to see him play for Nova here and give them that best odds of winning.
Oh, had to let Fanny out of the room. but it looks like we are good to go for our next matchup. It is going to be Tribe Gaming versus 11T. This is probably my favorite matchup of the night. Obviously, Tribe been at the top of Mobile Mayhem for the last couple of seasons, so they're always going to be a fun team to watch. 11T has had their ups and downs, but obviously as a solid top 4 team, not very far behind Zygnus Black at all. They've got a big opportunity to show themselves, and if they were able to get a match win, or even really a map, like getting a map win against Tribe is not an easy thing at all, and I believe Zygnus is the only team that's done that at all in the last 2 seasons.
Zygnus
Yeah,
both of the Zygnuses.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely a big opportunity for them. We do have part 2 of the interview, which we're going to go ahead and play real quick. So we're going to run that through, and then hopefully by the time we get back, we'll have all of our teams loaded in and ready to go for match 3.
What with all the meta changes, and we're kind of in the middle of submachine guns coming back, hopefully for good. But what guns are you playing with right now?
Right now, I mean, I've always been a sniper, as most people know. Since my sensitivity is kind of on the low side because of the sniping, I just tend to stick to ARs. So a lot of the DRH, the LK24, 117 sometimes. Whenever like the DRH and stuff gets banned though, and it's just PP Bisons everywhere, I gotta use the PP Bison, of course.
Yeah.
Because it's just OP.
Yeah.
The same with the MP5. But other than that, yeah, I tend to stick to long range weapons.
What's your favorite sniper rifle in the game?
Well, I go between the Locust and DLQ. I prefer the Locust just because it's the strongest for wallbangs. The DLQ is kind of on the slow side as well in terms of the fire rate, so it's good, but not the best. If the Arctic 50 wasn't banned, I'd use that.
Yeah.
But the Locust is my favorite for sure.
So I think you hear a lot of people that talk about kind of the Locust being a good combination of wallbangs and speed, ADS speed.
Yep.
You know.
Yes, sir.
I'd be interested to see when we talk about like balance changes coming and the possibility of no scopes becoming far less accurate. And
yes.
I'm interested to see how that transitions the sniper game. But
I mean, for the top snipers, I think, you see like Cheto of the Zygnus now. I mean, they were NL before. Zygnus, Little B, those guys, they're always going to be at the top, regardless of what you do to the snipers. Like, they're going to stay up there. So
yeah, I think that's a good point. That you'll see people who are dedicated to sniping and really enjoy the play style will make adjustments, and they'll still be at the top. They'll still be dropping 40 kill games on a regular basis. So, I don't think snipers going anywhere anytime soon.
Definitely not.
And really, it's such a necessary role on certain maps that even if they nerfed it into the ground, you'd still see snipers come out in certain environments.
For sure. I mean, the one shot, one kill ability is just
undeniable.
You gotta have it.
Yeah. So, what do you see on average? You might be in a ranked game and realize, oh, we're playing against some pros or something like that. What do you see professional players doing that is definitely different than the average player in ranked?
Well, the average player in ranked are kind of just like, I don't want to say brain dead because that's kind of a mean thing to say, but they'll just like run through the map. They don't really care. They'll use whatever gun is meta, throw double thermites, and just go for kills like that. But,
disorganized, I think, is a more polite way to say that.
Yeah, just go for kills. You just got off work, shoot some bodies, great. That's really what ranked is. The professional players, really what makes them different is game sense. That's the big key factor is holding angles, pushing on certain times, actually capping flags and stuff occasionally. A lot of pro players also treat ranked the same way as anyone else does, where they just run around and kill stuff. But
try to drop 60s. Yeah.
If you're trying though, if you actually want to win for whatever reason, maybe you're going against Papa Taco or trying to make a YouTube video beating #1 ranked player, then you're trying, and you see the actual skill come through.
I think that's a good point. Is kind of knowing where points on the map, depending on the game mode, knowing what areas are dangerous and what areas are safe. That's something I notice is you'll see players, especially in Mobile Mayhem, you'll see players where they break out of the spawn initially, but then there's like an invisible line where they stop. And that's because once they cross that certain angle, that corner, go into that open area, it's dangerous and it's guaranteed to be covered by a sniper.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you also see a difference in people playing to the strength of their weapons too, because a lot of people in ranked and other things like that will just run around with MP5s trying to shoot people across crossfire, like the whole long area,
Yeah.
you know, instead of just playing the close range angles with the SMG, or, you know, a longer range, medium range angle with the AR. It's just totally different.
Yeah, you're not going to see a sniper rush B point in Mobile Mayhem real often.
That never happens.
Yeah, I think those little organizational things, as the game, you know, goes further in its life cycle, we see more competitions, not just Mobile Mayhem, but I'm sure there's a whole series of competitions that'll come up, and multiple years of world championships. I think people are going to become more educated to those things, those dynamics that are going on in the game. The more people learn about that, the more entertaining it is to see pros do it at a high level, you know?
Sure. And I mean, Call of Duty's been around for a few decades now, so you already have people that are, you know, probably going to, some people might come from console CODs or just like come back to COD in general after quitting for a few years. And, you know, they have the game sense that they've acquired from watching, you know, people like Scump. You know, we were talking before the interview about those guys, you know, the pros in that scene that been around forever.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that you start to see people who kind of come cross-platform. I mean, I think the theorizing about Warzone Mobile will do a lot to push that forward and bring more people over from those platforms, you know? And
yes, sir.
As people come from console and PC, what they bring with them is, just like you said, over a decade of experience with the maps and having watched pro players and watched content creators. I think all of that, the more we see people come cross-platform, the more exciting it's going to be in competition.
Absolutely.
Come on, Warzone Mobile. So if you're watching a stream, if you're watching YouTube channels, who are your favorite streamers or content creators to watch?
I'm gonna leave some names out. I like watching everyone just to learn from like what they're doing, especially like, you know, like streamers with a lot of followers. But I guess honestly, whenever I tune into streams, it's either Bolu, Little B, or Tectonic. It's those three.
Yeah.
You know, occasionally I tune into like some other people, like maybe like Zia or like Parka, people that have like 400 viewers all the time. But yeah, most of the time it's just the people I know from the comp scene that streaming, whatever they are, you know.
And if they're playing at a high level, whenever they're playing, they're doing something that got them there. You know, that's like
absolutely.
Success brings viewers always.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, hey man, thanks for joining us for the interview, and it's good talking to you. I think we've got a lot of exciting things coming in the comp scene, and we hope to see you back out there here pretty soon.
Can't wait to be there.
Awesome, man.
All right. Well, thank you, Meralto, for the interview. He did say that he does not watch my stream, so obviously he will never get to be interviewed for Mobile Mayhem again, but I'm glad that we got to see him one time. Anyways.
Twice. We interviewed him last season, too.
Dang it. Well, I'm deleting the VODs. Hacker Man's delete the VODs.
He's clearly a future Pokemon Unite pro anyway. So.
That is true. All right. Well, we're waiting for our teams to get loaded in right here, but obviously before that, we do have to take a look at the maps and bans. And also, just because there's a significant number of people in chat that don't understand my memeing, no, Ferg is not playing in Mobile Mayhem for Tribe today. We do have Summit Hardpoint for game number 1, Raid Search and Destroy for game 2. If we go to a game 3, it'll be Standoff, Domination bans the QQ9, and the DRH Tribe banning Hardpoint on Firing Range, 11T banning Domination on Hackney Yard. They seem pretty content with banning Domination the majority of the time, which is definitely interesting to me. I'm curious what the strategy behind that is, but That does cover what we need to know as we get ready to hop into this one. Unfortunately, despite the interview playing all the way through, we still don't have anybody here for either team, so we'll have to wait a minute. Day, who are our players to watch?
For our current matchup of what map are we on? We're on what, Tribe versus 11T now?
Yep.
Well, I mean, obviously we're gonna be looking at the likes of Yuji, Wiru, and I think Zai are probably the top 3 to point out for 11T, unless if we have Wally. Wally, obviously a pretty consistent repeat player in Mobile Mayhem that we haven't seen too much from this season. And then over on Tribe, obviously going to be looking at Bolu, who's been the primary sniper for the side of Tribe so far this season. And honestly, I'm going to go ahead and put Hax up towards the top as well. Hax is kind of like I was describing Envoy, where in previous seasons he's been that player that is always solid. They're always in the upper middle. But Hax has really, really taken off this season and has been doing great. As well as Vague for Tribe would be a player to keep an eye out for. So definitely going to have to keep an eye out for those guys. I think anybody would expect Tribe to have the advantage in this matchup, but that being said as well, this is arguably the weakest we've seen Tribe, and I mean, granted, that's not a very big margin. I mean, this is, you're comparing it to a unbeaten or undefeated season to they lost one match to the second place team, you know, so by no means is this a weak roster whatsoever, but they have at least been shown to have weaknesses. They have been defeated, and 11T is one of those teams that, while in the upper echelon of the teams in the league, they do struggle a little bit with consistency. I mean, we're specifically pretty strong all the time in search, but it's pretty hit or miss in our hard point as well. Danny Gogu, some days we see him 30 kills on the board, some days we see him with 10, 15 kills on the board. So a little hard to say here before we get into the rosters, but with Bolu and Jez both being here for Tribe, you definitely expect this to be a pretty solid roster already. And with Vague and Hax potentially showing up, I don't know, Hax joined and then took off. Obviously, those are two of the other players for Tribe that I mentioned that we need to be keeping an eye out for. So, Super here for 11T obviously comes in and struts his stuff until his team gets here every week. So. We always see the appearance of Super, but we never get to see Super play, and I'm quite sad about that.
Yeah. I just now noticed, I don't know how I never noticed this before, but everybody on Tribe has anime profile pictures, which is like just typically the sign of the sweaty tryhard who's cracked out of their mind. So even though they don't have an official team logo for their avatars, I almost like this a little bit better because it allows you to have like a little bit more individualism while at the same time representing your team, even though Tribe isn't in any way associated with anime. I don't know. It's fun to me.
Tribe is their name.
We do have, oh, would you look at that? Wally is going to be joining tonight for 11T, so I think he played for them one game on, it was either Tuesday or Thursday. He didn't even play the entire match. He showed up for the one game and just didn't have a very good performance, so if I had to guess, probably coming in not with a whole lot of practice. Hopefully he's been able to sharpen up a little bit because we know that he is one of the top players in the league and was one of those players that was previously on iPad. We expected to struggle making the switch on over to phone and just made it pretty seamlessly. So expect to see big things out of him in the future, and hopefully he will be a little bit sharper for today's matchup. But outside of that, we're still waiting for the majority of 11T to show up.
Yeah, well, Wally rocking the Wally picture. I gotta side with 11T.
I didn't even that connection did not go through in my head, but that's actually dope.
Yeah, we do have players from both teams filling on in here. We do have 2 players missing currently for 11T, 1 player missing for Tribe, which, again, it does look to be Hax. He was already in the lobby once, at least briefly, but we'll have to see as we keep rocking and rolling. At least currently in voice chat for 11T, we only have 5 players, and Super is one of them. So hopefully that's not what we end up having here. Definitely not the matchup that you want your coach to be playing in. For Tribe, it does look like we have hacks in voice chat as well. So definitely it looks like we know what our Tribe roster is going to be at least.
And
Diego
has just
clearly
readied up for
filling in for
Tribe.
Tribe.
Interesting. Not what I expected to see from the Tribe roster for tonight, but
a little ahead of the All-Stars game here,
Yeah.
Diego. Are
He
you guys
is-
are you gonna live draft again at the beginning of the broadcast for that, or?
did we do that last time?
I think so. I think we did it the last 2 times.
You're probably right. I don't have very good memory, so maybe.
Also in which I expect the All-Star captains this time around to maybe take it a little bit more seriously, since there's now
Yeah.
prize money on the line.
Yeah, not well. I do recall the all sniper team. That one I do remember. That was like Space, Little B, Swag. Who else was on that team?
I also remember Bobby complaining that I think it was Little B was on iPad. He didn't pick Little B.
Oh, you're thinking of the Trovo Showdown. That was a different thing.
Oh, is that what I'm thinking of? Okay. Yeah, that happened too.
We were playing a Trovo Showdown, and this was like right as everybody was in the middle of making the switch between iPad and phone, and I said, hey. Well, because Vega was there too. I was like, "Who's playing on phone? Who's playing on tablet?" And Little B was like, "Oh, I'm playing on phone." And then, like, super under his voice, I didn't even hear him say it, but under his voice, he's like, "Oh, I was just kidding. I'm actually playing on iPad." I didn't even hear that, and then he's like, "No, I said it." And I went back and watched the VOD on max volume. And I was like, "Okay, he did actually say it, but in this situation where I'm talking as he's saying that, there's no way I would have actually heard it."
And 6 other people are also talking.
Exactly. Yeah. Freaking Little B. We do have Hex rejoining us right there. We might actually have Super starting for us tonight. I'm not sure if that's
That would not be ideal.
definitely not ideal.
Definitely not against Tribe.
Yeah. I'm looking. We don't have Yuji in the lobby yet, and he's in the VC. And we don't have. Who's Chefcito?
I don't know. I don't know.
Chefcito.
Wish I had answers for you.
Well,
I
there's
can
6
actually check
people
and
in the
see if
VC, so I'm assuming Super's probably going to get replaced by somebody, but maybe not.
That's
Maybe
usually the
this will be
case.
his first start.
On the official roster, I do not see a Chefcito, so I'm gonna say that's probably a no-go.
What are the players on the
Rosters are locked now too.
Yeah,
so
what
that's
are the
something.
players on the roster that aren't in the lobby currently?
Let's see here. UG, Just, Diego, Wally. So Wiru, Zai, and Danny Gogu.
Huh. I wonder if any of those would be a Chefcito. Obviously, I don't know anything about any of their personalities, so it's tough for me to be able to analyze. But hey,
Chief Spanish-speaking admin is back.
all right. It looks like as a result of the delay, Tribe is already up 1-0, and if we don't have a full 11T roster in here soon, 11T will DQ the series.
Not what you want to see on the last day.
Yeah.
Especially in what we would have thought would have been the potentially best matchup of the night. I'm super disappointed, but we did see Zygnus Black DQ the first game against Tribe, and then win the Search and Destroy. So maybe 11T can pull it together.
Yeah. And all right. I am just Why not? Wait, is Super on the roster?
Oh no, he's not.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
A little bit of a missight there.
Mm-hmm. All right. They opted to DQ the map instead of 4v5ing. Interesting.
Bold move, Cotton.
I can't really say that I blame them, because if anything, they'd probably just get clowned for losing when... I'm not going to say it's impossible to beat Tribe in a 4v5, but they haven't beat Tribe at all in the last 2 seasons when they've had their entire 5 stack, so it seems unlikely, at the very least.
I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there that it is impossible to beat Tribe in a 4v5 if you are the 4.
I think there are probably plenty of Chinese teams out there that could beat Tribe 4v5.
Okay, this is Mobile Mayhem NA. Just a reminder.
I'm saying we're talking all the people in the world. I'm saying it is possible. It might not be possible for anybody in North America, but I think it is possible.
Still might be a stretch.
Maybe.
4v5 specifically in Respawn is pretty hard. One less body for objectives. It's one less person putting bullets out. And assists are key. Kill steals are key.
True. Who knows? Well, we have 3 more minutes before 11T elects to DQ map number 2 as well. Obviously, don't really want to see that. I think Tribe definitely has the... I think Tribe is like the optic of Call of Duty Mobile. Definitely have the biggest fan base. They've been around for the longest time. Not saying their skill level... Well, obviously, you can't talk skill level game to game. Was too quick, bro. Give them a chance. Yeah. See, the thing is, we had a 6-minute interview, and then we talked for like another 11 minutes, and they still weren't ready. So it seems like it was too quick, but it actually wasn't quick at all because they've had a lot of time to get things prepared.
Well, they also weren't in here the whole time of the interview is going on.
Yeah, exactly.
So it may seem like it hasn't been a long time, but you got to add the 5 minutes or whatever for the interview to it too.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And also, you can't make exceptions just because it's the matchup you want to see, because no disrespect to those teams, but if it was like F4 versus Vitro and they DQ'd one of the teams after 15 minutes, nobody would have been complaining about it. So obviously we gotta keep an even standard between all the teams. The rules are the rules. We got 2 more minutes. Hopefully, oh my gosh, B just put a gif of a countdown timer. Oh, that's funny. That's actually a brilliant idea.
Actually, super brilliant.
Yeah, that's actually extremely useful. What the heck? Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah. Be clearly brilliant. Carries.
Yeah.
Mobile Mayhem.
Factual statement.
Zim trash. All the problems Mobile Mayhem has, Zim's fault.
Zim's gonna delete Discord now.
Look, Zim. We always need one punching bag for Mobile Mayhem, and it just happens to be you every season.
Oh, super left.
Jim.
Zim, didn't Sylvia say you're not allowed to say that?
Yeah. I thought that was the case.
Oh my gosh.
If any of you in chat see Sylvia come by chat, make sure you let her know that Zim said the thing.
Yep.
That's all you need to know. She'll get it. Just say Zim said the thing.
All right. It is 8:40.
Countdown timer has reset. Oh, is this really what we're doing? Is this happening this way? Well, seems like not a great choice after you self-DQ'd the first game, but I mean, we here. Let's do it. Let's try to get the 2-0.
Yep, it looks like we're gonna have a 45 for game number 2.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to this matchup.
I was too. I said right at the beginning when you asked me what matchups to look for tonight, I was like, this is gonna be the best one. And never happened.
You hate to see it. And now players won't ready up. Oh, we're rejoined! Woo!
Oh my goodness. See, now the real question is, does he get to play, or are they locked in 4v5?
Let him play. Let him play.
I mean, I agree. I'd rather see the 5. Even if they take a DQ, I'd rather see a 5v5 versus a 4v5. All right, Zim says 5v5 and let's go!
All right. Here we go. Game number 2.
Need to shave. I look pretty homeless on stream.
No, you don't. You have a beautiful, luscious beard.
No, Mod 6 has a beautiful, luscious, best beard in Mobile Mayhem.
Fine, if you say so. The game is underway. And Tribe with the aggressive B push right here. They gonna go top red. Nobody spotted yet, but definitely not what you really expect to see from teams in Search and Destroy, at least on this map. Diego trying to hit a wall bang, very nearly finds Hacks right there, but the angle's just not quite there. Diego's actually going to send the nade on over to basketball court and might be able to find an angle. Just unfortunate timing. He actually sees Vega right there. Eyes onto another player as well, and the hit marker will turn into a kill. Sees Hacks, not able to land the shot quite yet. Jez going to drop off the start. Another hit marker. Another hit marker. Somebody give this man stopping power. 11T still somehow able to find a few frags off the start. Marshy, 1 kill on the board alongside Hacks, but Tribe with a pretty slow round 1 right here, as they're not able to find anybody. Hacks is able to take out Diego, but the bomb is down outside of pool, just laying down shots. Somehow nobody there for the refrag yet, and Hacks is able to stay alive even with players over on basketball court. Not really sure what 11D was doing right there, but just like that, it's going to be a 1v... Oh, they ran out of time to plan. All right, well, there we go. 11D takes a 1-0 lead. I didn't even see the clock.
Clearly calculated by 11T playing time there.
Defend the objective. The enemy has the bomb.
Off to a pretty good start for the side of 11T, I must say. I mean, they've got their round win on defense, so... And with Diego finding an opening pick onto Bolu, that's actually huge for 11T. We'll have to see what they can pull together through the rest of the round. Diego finds another just, finds a third for them, or a fourth for them, I should say. So big round for Diego there. It's now a lonely Veg who is very, very hurt. Up against three very angry members of 11T who didn't want to have to forfeit the first round, but now here they are.
Yeah, he's looking to clutch a 1v4, has already found 1, but with 2 players down on basketball court, it's not going to be an easy push to make. He just had eyes on UG right there. I think he might send out a concussion aid. He's actually going to spot him pretty weak, should be able to secure that kill as well. Now finds himself in a 1v2, trying to go for the plant. Not sure this is the spot. His legs seem to be exposed, but he's not going to take any shots right there, and makes the rotation on back up towards the sniper's nest. Diego and Wiru waiting for him to do something, but he's actually going to catch Wiru off guard just like that. He finds the frag. Diego's going to go for the defuse. I don't know if he's going to have time to get it. Veg's going to be able to find himself a 1v4. Tribe Gaming miraculously finding themselves tied at 1-1, very much in part from the efforts of Veg.
Yeah, I mean,
Defend the objectives. They have the bomb.
Vague, definitely one of those players to watch for the side of Tribe. I mean, overall, solid numbers for him across all modes. Even in the first week in which we saw him playing for Trovo Mayhem, he put up their biggest numbers as well then. So, and it was mostly in Search and Destroy. I mean, for when he played for Trovo Mayhem, he had a .86 KDA for Hardpoint and a 2.25 for Search and Destroy. So obviously a pretty big impact there. Now over here on Tribe, still keeping it pretty reasonable. I mean, he's got an overall 1.26 in Hardpoint, as well as 1.06 for Search and Destroy. Jez has typically been one of their stronger Search and Destroy players, all the way up at a 1.76 KDA for Search. So hopefully for Jez's KDA's sake, we will see him start putting a couple numbers on the board.
Yep. Tribe going to go ahead and go back to the B site, which didn't really work out all that well for them in round number 1, but they seem to have control of red again. Seems like a lot of times they kind of fake that send, and I'm surprised Marshy didn't see the laser of just kind of peeking through over by garage right there, but they're going to now be able to take mid control. Just is able to take out Hacks. Only 2 Tribe members remain, but one of them is Vague, and he's found himself a 1v4 already today, so 2v4 definitely a lot more manageable. They're going to be able to get the bomb down over onto A. Diego making the rotation. Marshy set up on that bomb, or on that rockhead glitch. That's going to be an easy frag going in for him. Holding down those corner angles, finds UG as well. We do have Just down by the pool, and he's trying to make the push on in. I think sent in a nade, but not able to get anything to land. Wally finally able to make something happen right there, but not enough to take out Vague. But Vague doesn't hear Just sneaking on into the bomb site. He's going to get the ninja defuse, and 11T fires back following the 1v4 to tie things up at 2-2.
Yeah, so far a great game between these two teams. Definitely would have liked to see the Hardpoint. This season, Hardpoint, one of the key games that Tribe had lost up against Zygnus Elite, as well as, or Zygnus Esports, as well as I believe they lost a Search and Destroy to Zygnus Black at the beginning of the season. So definitely something to keep in mind. Diego finds a kill onto Marshy. Diego actually having, I think, the best performance we've seen out of him in a Search and Destroy so far. 7 kills on the board for him, picking up the sniper for the team. So not something we normally see. Typically we would have Zai as our primary marksman for 11T, but with no Zai, I would say Diego has picked it up and is pretty much flawlessly executing here.
Yeah, and it looks like Bolu's having some struggles with the sniper. That's kind of been a struggle for him throughout the past couple of weeks, as he definitely had a really good start to the season, but hasn't really been able to find that consistency over toward the end. He and Jez pushing over toward B. We're actually going the opposite direction. That's going to leave B wide open right here. Now, I think we do have Just on the flank up in the top side. He might be able to gather some information. Weir's going to get spotted out, but Bolu's not going to be able to land the shot right there. He's going to take some shots in the back. Not quite enough to get the kill, but obviously Just now has that information on him. And Bolu trying to stay alive right here. He's actually going to be able to win the gunfight. And wow, did Tribe close that out strong. Bolu finally puts away the sniper and immediately finds 2 kills to give Tribe the lead back at 3-2.
Yeah, I mean, Tribe, again, one of the best teams in the league. Their standings stand for it. The fact that they have only lost 1 game also stands to show. Vague right now really got the team on his back. 9 kills for him. We do have Marshy with 6, so not too far behind. Jez picking up a couple kills as well. No sniper currently on the side of Tribe. It's all PP-19.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Oh my goodness, Bolu coming through with a fiery vengeance. Picks up a triple kill there before Marshy picks up the 4th, giving a assist over to Bolu on that last one. So huge round for Bolu and Marshy there.
That was a clean triple. It looks like Bolu was just sick and tired of using the sniper. He just said, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm sticking to my SMG, and it is working out, at least for right now. A couple of big rounds going in for 11T right there. Diego going to go ahead and back up. Yuji's going to drop. It's Tribe with a man, making a 2-man, 3-man advantage already. And it looked like they were going to have a shot at pushing this to a game 3. But, I mean, Tribe has just been an absolute wrecking crew right here. Is just going to take some shots on the inside of Kitchen. Forced to reposition, especially with that information given away. It is going to be a near impossible 1v4, especially with the bomb down all the way across the map. Marshy going to slide through, finds the frag right there, and Tribe 1 round away from closing things out in a 2-0 victory.
Yeah, again, I don't think this is a super big shock. I actually a little disappointed that Weru is not the one showing up for the side of 11T, as well as Yuji, who apparently has a IFX tag again, so I don't really know what's going on with that, but definitely something to see what happens next season, I guess.
Yeah.
And Marshy going to pick up the headshot there. That's going to make a 5 versus 4 advantage for the side of Tribe. Make it a 5-3 as Vague finds Wally as well. Yeah, this is looking pretty much over.
Yeah, we're in Just still alive. They haven't really been able to get anything going. And as I say that, Just is going to find a 2-piece. That's big for them, but obviously still a lot of work to go if they're going to make this comeback happen. Marshy able to get the frag onto Just, but Vague is there, walks on down the steps, gets shots onto Weru. Tribe Gaming going to close this out in a 6-2 victory. Result of the forfeit for 11T in game number 1, and they will finish at the top of Mobile Mayhem for our spring split. They're already at the top. Those 20 points will 100% secure it, and definitely big credit to Vague. Goes 13-2, including a 1v4 to clutch the first round of the game for Tribe. Big performance for him.
Yeah, I mean, Marshy, again, one of those players that last season didn't really have super impactful games. Then again, he wasn't really a starter last season. But he has come through for Tribe real big this season, as well as specifically here today. 11-5-2. Vague 13-2. Massively positive in Search and Destroy. So definitely excited to get the number updates in there and see where that affects him in those standings. But overall, pretty much just the two of them carrying Tribe on through. Obviously, Bolu with a massive triple kill helped them clutch up that round as well. Yuji 0-8, not something we normally see out of him. So that is certainly an interesting one.
Yep. And also, for those of you who are paying attention, we weren't even done looking at the stat screen, and there were already people loading in for Vitro. So it's definitely within your power to be able to do that within the end of the interview, let alone within the end of us talking about the matchup that just happened. So if I see one more of you guys crying about us implementing the rules that were in play, my mods will come after you. I'm not even going to deal with you. But we are here for the final matchup of the night. It is going to be Zygnus Black versus Vitro. And one Zygnus player already loaded in as well, so hopefully that means they should be good to go pretty soon here. It's the last matchup of the season, so hopefully it's going to be a good one, obviously. Vitro still looking to put some points on the leaderboard. We see Zygnus Black pretty close to the top. 120 points to the 0 right now for Vitro. I can't think of a better way to end the season. Not necessarily saying Vitro has to win the match, but I would love to see them win at least one map. I think that would be just the absolute perfect finish.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely would love to see Vitro pick up some points, even if it's just 5. Against Zygnus Black? I don't know. I don't know, man. But, again, Vitro is another one of those teams that I think has talent, but perhaps not necessarily the best team synergy. Specifically, the likes of Tomb and Parallel have been incredibly solid players for this team. And we almost have all of our players loaded in. This is going to be a early night for Mobile Mayhem.
It's almost like players are capable of joining lobbies in time. It's crazy. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
We have Jingo joining up, 5 Teabag, pretty much the usual roster for Zygnus right here. Just need one more player for Vitro. Like you said, Scott, Parallel, Sped, Tomb. Sped's definitely picked up a little bit of speed toward the end of the season as well. Excited to see where some of these players do end up landing because, like you said, there's a lot of players on Vitro that don't really necessarily go super negative. They don't lose a ton of their gunfights. They just don't seem to have the necessary strategy to take down a lot of these teams. So I don't know if it means finding a new IGL or if it means moving to a different team, whatever it is. But I definitely think a lot of these players do have a future in Mobile Mayhem and competitive Call of Duty Mobile, and excited to see how those type of things shape up. Also excited for the quarterfinals, which are going to start next Tuesday. So I guess this should pretty much solidify what those are going to look like. Obviously,
I think it's already solidified at this point.
Yeah. Teams 3, 4, 5, and 6 are going to be playing in those quarterfinals. I believe the format
with the other teams that lost earlier, I don't know if it matters what happens here.
Oh, no, it doesn't, because Zygnus is already 35 points ahead of Zygnus Black, so even if they 2-0, they can't pass them up. Right. It should be Zygnus Black versus Nova Invictus and 11T versus Trovo Mayhem for our matchup, or our matchups on Tuesday. We'll have 2 matchups on each of the days, so those are going to be best of 5 series to determine who's going to play in the finals. Based on the way that most brackets typically work, I believe it should be the winner of Zygnus Black and Nova Invictus plays against should play against Zygnus, and then the winner of 11D and Trovo Mayhem should play against Tribe. That is assuming all my bracketology knowledge is correct.
All of your bracketology.
Oh, bracket scene is updated. Poggers. Brackets. Would you look at that? Zim coming in clutch. Almost right? Dang it. Winner of Zygnus Black and Nova Invictus goes against Tribe?
Might have the schedule at this point. I would think they would. Again, I don't think the scoring matters here. I don't think it matters if Zygnus Black get 2-0'd. I think everything should be locked in.
Yeah, it's definitely all locked in. I'm just trying to think.
With Invictus and 11T losing, they didn't go up in points. So Zygnus Black is in 3rd place regardless.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I thought it would make the most sense that the number 1 seed of all the quarterfinal teams should have the best chance of getting matched against the number 2 seed rather than the number 1 seed. Maybe that's just the result of me only watching basketball brackets my whole life. I don't know. Technically, they're the 5 seed.
Because Invictus beat Mayhem, so they have the head-to-head.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, there you go. That's the bracket. So you guys know what the matchups are going to look like. You know, we were off to such a solid start. Everybody was getting loaded in early. First place, we're winning quarterfinals. Okay. 3 and 4 are separated.
Yeah, but shouldn't it be 3 and 5 and 4 and 6?
No, it should be 3 and 6 and 4 and 5.
Do you also like how Zim just randomly spelled out 6?
Yeah, I don't know why he did that.
Why?
3 of the 4 numbers were numerical and 1 of them was spelled out. That's just the most
Yeah.
random thing.
Yeah, here you go, chat. Here's what happened.
They're not going to know what you're talking about for 2 minutes.
Oh yeah,
but...
it's gonna be 2 minutes later, right?
Chat's gonna be like, huh? Yeah, chat, what happened with the lucky draw? I was getting screenshots for a thumbnail and I saw the lucky draw is not out. It is not happening tonight? It always drops when I'm in the middle of Mobile Mayhem, so I was super confused about that. Well, we do finally have all of our players loaded in, so we should be good to go pretty soon here. We'll run through the maps and the bands real quick. Band PB19, QQ9. Look, somebody finally got the bands right. Summit Hardpoint for game number 1. Meltdown Search and Destroy game 2. Oh, it is in the game. I wonder if it came late or something else. Anyway, if we go to a game 3, it will be Firing Range Domination. So, waiting on our players to get readied up, and we should be good to hop into those matchups. Well, there we go.
I think the cartography might be wrong on that, but Zim is checking it right now. Does look like we have all of our players almost loaded in, waiting on 1 player from Zygnus to load on it. We haven't seen too much of Raven this season. So this will be different.
A little bit in and out.
I don't think I paid enough attention in the lobby. Do we know who our 5th is for Zygnus? Is it Fish or no?
No. It's... 5. All right, there we go. 5 finally loaded in. Good to go. Hard point on Summit as we are getting underway. Probably see a lot of DRHs in this one. And hopefully a little bit more variety in the SMG department. Looks like we got some QXRs, some Quexers, some Fenix, some DRHs, some AK-117s. My goodness, Washi with a triple off the start. That's the kind of start you like to see if you are Zygnus, and Parallel going to drop right there. Right now, Vitro has picked up a total of 3 kills and would definitely like to pick up more, but 5 able to win the gunfight right there. It is definitely the start that Zygnus was looking for.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, Washi with a big opening feed really helped Zygnus get into position to defend that P1, and then some pretty solid rotations over, really helping them keep that maintained in their favor. I mean, this is hard to watch in the sense that this is almost a full P1 hold on Summit, which never happens. It's usually pretty back and forth. You know, I think one of the bigger leads that we've seen is like a 30-15 to 46-2 is pretty rough. I mean, it's definitely, you know, potentially something you could say you expect out of Zygnus Black versus Vitro, but Tomb with a good hop up there is going to get the kill on to Raven. It's once again Zygnus on the hard point though.
Yeah, it looks like Vitro is able to get a pretty good push initially. They got broken, but they've got people set up on top side, gonna be able to hop back down into the hard point once again. Finally gonna be able to pick up a little bit of time, but the steamroller of Zygnus Black just running through right now. Washi with 12 kills through 2 hard points. That is no easy thing to do. Tomb gonna hop the corner, wins the gunfight right there. Is going to be able to push in, get a couple more seconds in here for Zygnus Black as he drops Jingo as well, and actually 9 kills on the board. Not a bad start for him. He sees Washi coming the other way, doesn't really want to fight it, at least initially. Washi staying on the head glitch, plays the gunfight correctly. But we do have Vitro with spawn control right here. So this could be a big opportunity if they're able to win these gunfights, but that is a very big if. We see 3 kills go in for him, but then it's 3 straight for Zygnus as well. Back and forth, but right now Vitro doing a good job of holding.
Yeah, Zygnus, a pretty sizable lead developed so far. They're sitting up 50. Raven was making a really aggressive push over behind, maybe trying to get an anchor there, unable to clear it on out. But his team so far maintaining control, and it honestly looks like Vitro are a little bit scared to push in. We do have Raven picking up 1 kill mid, but the rest of his team picking up several kills as well. Tomb is gonna win the gunfight there, wins a follow-up up against 5 as well. And Vitro actually winning out the objective here, but again, kind of one of those situations where you fought over the last 10 seconds, so you gave the enemy team time to set up for next. And on Summit, that's a long way away. Now, fortunately for them, there have been some hardpoint changes, and there's a lot of potential for them to be able to regroup in time to make extra pushes. Especially with, I mean, honestly, just random respawns like that. There's no justification to what just happened for Fed there, but it happened. Basically, nobody in any sort of anchor position gets killed on the hill and just spawns on point. Pretty bizarre.
Yeah, despite the struggles for Vitro, Tomb is really popping off right now. 19 kills, tied with Washi right now, having a huge performance. Unfortunately for them, it hasn't really converted into points so far, but we do see them getting the break here once again. Seems like they have been able to get a lot of breaks, but typically it's not really been early in the hard point. But Sped doing a really good job holding things down right there. He's going to be able to find a 2-piece. Washi trying to push on up. Scott going to get spotted, not able to hit the initial shots. It looks like Washi's actually going to try to rotate on over to next, but Scott going to be able to win that one as well. And Washi continuing to spray. I think Scott's waiting for it to run out of ammo, and he finally did it. Scott at 13 kills right now. And this is actually looking like it could be a pretty solid performance for Vitro. If they're able to solidify some of these rotations a little bit, they might actually stand a shot, especially with the struggles so far for Jingo and 5.
Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of potential for Vitro here. They're another one of those teams that, while they are at the bottom, we've seen them put up some pretty big numbers and put up a big fight against some of the upper tier teams. So we'll have to see as we move on. But right now it is, once again, Zygnus so far winning the mid hardpoint, our second pass on to P1. But just as I say that, Vitro make a slight break, as Zygnus are also primarily looking like they're getting set up for P2. Teabag in a great spot in the corner. They're going to pick up a free kill on the Sped. Should, by all means, have picked up a free kill onto Sped, but just, I guess, gave up on the corner and started to move and walked right into it. But it happens. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. Right now, Tomb top fragging in the game with 24 kills. Now, he's not very far ahead, but he's ahead of Washi with 23, ahead of Teabag with 22, Raven with 20. No fish for the side of Zygnus. I'm kind of interested to figure out what's going on there, but have to see as we get into later stages. As again, this team is obviously already well enough qualified for the quarterfinals, and I believe if we have figured out all of our brackets, I think Zygnus Black is supposed to play against Trovo Mayhem, but I could be wrong. It looks like we're still trying to figure that out on our end. We got a bug on our bracket, as it appears.
All right, good to know. It is going to be Zygnus getting most of the time on to P2 right there. Pushing out, trying to get the break, as we do have a couple players set up right now for Vitro, but not really a lot. Lay trying to get spawns for his team. He's going to get shut down. A double for Jingo, another kill for Washi. Tomb, who's been really, really good for Vitro so far, laying down some shots, trying to see if he can make something happen. Probably should have made the initial push to get Washi, but as a result, he's going to get taken out right there. And now the kill feed going almost entirely over to Zygnus. Seems every gunfight they could possibly win, they're winning. That from Washi, absolutely filthy. Spez finally able to take him out, but he's got a Pred missile now. And with only 35 more points to go, it looks like Zygnus is in pretty solid shape and going to be able to close this one out relatively easily. Sped slides in, able to win gunfight, able to win one gunfight, can't make it two. Jingo's going to hop on. Scrap time's going to go in for Zygnus right here, and we're going to find a Vitro team currently spawn trapped outside of the hard point. Not really something I ever thought I would say in a game of hardpoint, but with the way the spawns are right now, that's just the way that it goes already. They have pushed out. They've got control for next, it looks like, but Raven already winning that initial gunfight, and that's going to open things up for the break once again.
Yeah, and with Zygnus closing in on 250 right now, currently sitting at a pretty comfortable 233. You definitely expect this game to be over here pretty shortly with Zygnus taking the win. Vitro, at times of the game, had signs of life, but this is pretty devastatingly, as far as the teamwork and rotations goes, this has been a Zygnus game all game. I mean, we definitely have seen Vitro members pick up kills, but that's something we've talked about all season, and I've mentioned it all season, that Vitro does not have the lowest KDAs of teams. In fact, I don't even think they're second to last. I think they're actually ahead of two teams overall. But the teamwork is just not there. The teamwork, the rotations, this is like basically a team here to play team deathmatch, if you want me to be brutally honest.
Yep, they just haven't really been able to get their strategy down so far throughout the season, and they are going to get a little bit of time to go in right here. The contest is going to be Zygnus hopping back on. They're going to be able to close out the rest of the time. They're actually going to hop off right here. I think they may potentially be trying to get one of their players a kill records. We got Washi at 41 and Raven at 41. I think that would be milking it, to say the least, but obviously they've got 7.5 minutes to do whatever they want to with, so if they want to sit here and play TDM, they're more than welcome to. Washi going to get taken out from the top side by Scott. And yeah, they're pretty content to stay off the hill. Washi's going to pick up number 44 right there. Does only get the major assist on the follow-up. And they're at the point where they're just trolling. And I'm 99% sure they might actually accidentally win it right here. Washi's...
I wonder if Washi's just trying to beat kill record at this point.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm pretty sure he's just trying to get the kill record.
Oh,
yeah.
Must have just not heard that part.
Yep, he's I mean, if I had to guess, I don't know why else they would be prolonging it like this. And honestly, Raven's right there with him, so maybe they're having a kill race, see who can get to 50 first, whatever it is. I feel like the kill record wouldn't quite have as much meaning to it whenever it comes in like a...
When you draw the game out to
or we were stomping this team and we just let the time run so we can see how many kills we get. Like, obviously, it would still stand, but... I don't know. Honestly feels more disrespectful to Vitro than anything else.
Mega disrespectful, for sure. I mean, Washi's only, what, 9 kills away?
Yeah, something like that. I think he was a little bit salty that that he got taken away from him, so now he wants it back.
Yeah, well, needs, I think, 7 more to tie it, if I remember correctly. I think, what... Is it 54 or is it 58?
58.
Okay, that's what I thought too.
Yeah. He picks up another one right there. 52. Parallel's going to round the corner. Washi's going to win another one.
I don't know if I can say I condone this though.
I do not I don't condone this at all.
Yeah, this is really mean. This is not great sportsmanship for sure.
Yeah, Raven's going to pick one up right there. Washi spraying onto Parallel inside of the hard point. Maybe if they let it get too close, maybe there's a chance that it slips out of their hands, but right now it's just Vitro kind of getting bullied outside of the hard point. Tomb does find a two-piece right there. They're able to find a little bit more scrap time. Jingo lasering across. Teabags up to 48. Raven's at 51. Washi's at 54. 4 more kills, and he will have the kill record in the bag. They're looking to make the rotation across the map. Obviously rotating on over to P4. And right now it looks like all of his teammates taking the kills, so he might not even be able to make it happen in time. Who knows? Obviously they still got
might have actually just gave Vitro their first points of the season. I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is probably gonna end up being a violation of the rules.
Oh yeah.
Prolonging the game, not playing to the best of your ability is definitely one of the rules. So
yep.
We'll have to see. I mean, you hate to do it to Zygnus Black when they're winning like this, but
yep.
This is pretty disrespectful. It's pretty scummy in my opinion.
Yep.
And I definitely think the plug needs to be pulled here a little bit.
Yep, according to Zim, that is a DQ and a violation of the rules, so it's actually going to be a win for Vitro in game number 1. Since it is a DQ, I believe we're going to go ahead and say that the kill record does not count.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to say that as well.
So Washi is going to... Yep, he's going to come away with 61 right here, but all for naught.
Yeah, pretty bad sportsmanship out of Zygnus Black. I'm pretty disappointed.
Yep.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Definitely not what you like to see on the last day of the season. We're waiting to see what the result's going to be. At the very least, it's going to be a DQ of the map.
Typically, that suspension would be for the next game as well. So
yeah,
that might...
I don't know what that's going to mean for... We're currently waiting on the ruling. Obviously, you can talk about the scoreboard or whatever, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's a great game to talk about in the first place. That was, I mean, just to be blatantly honest, that was massively disrespectful to their opponents on the side of Zygnus. So I don't know. That's pretty rough. We're waiting on an answer from admin guys on what the standing is here. Honestly, it would have been sweet justice if Zygnus Black trolled and Vitro ended up winning. But
yep.
Now chat's going crazy. They think the comeback's actually gonna happen.
So, for those of you who are confused on why that is a DQ, one of the rules of Mobile Mayhem is that teams play to the best of their ability. So, on the bottom side of things, you can have teams that, like we had a player named Deathleys who was suspended from Mobile Mayhem for intentionally throwing. On the top side of things, you can also have teams that do like what Zygnus Black just did and intentionally prolong the game in order to get a kill record. and just intentionally try to embarrass the other team the entire time. And that's not playing the game to the best of your ability. So that is going to result in, at the very least, a DQ for game 1. Are we even going to play game 2?
I don't know. As far as I know, the rule book would have been they disqualify or they are suspended from their next day of play, which would be quarterfinals. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that ends up working out. Chat, you can call it soft all you want. That was super disrespectful in tournament play. It's one thing if you're it's one thing to be in ranked or unranked and troll your enemies, but you know, we expect players to come through with a respectful attitude in competition. Body shooting between friends, joking back and forth, you know, whatever, that's all in good fun, but that was a massive amount of disrespect.
I'm sorry, if you guys are trying to equate shooting bodies with prolonging a game against a team that's obviously going to lose so that you can just get a kill record, I don't feel like we're in an area where we can actually have a logical conversation about it.
Yeah, there's not a middle ground here. Those are two different things. Yeah. They were coming back already.
Since chat's not comprehending, I'll pull up the rules.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a sportsmanship penalty for sure.
Let's see. I'm not gonna pull it up on stream, but rule 6.2.1.1, failure to play to the best of your ability. Typical minimum penalty suspension, maximum penalty first offense indefinite suspension, maximum penalty second offense indefinite suspension. So the minimum penalty for that would be suspension.
Yeah, I mean that's also on broadcast misconduct and player misconduct, so we'll have to see. I mean Ivovsky's got it exactly right. You're a pro player, act like it.
Yeah.
Simple. They can't argue it. We watched them stand above the hard point to farm kills.
Yeah.
And
anybody who says, oh, they were playing to the best of their ability, they're trying to get kills. Number one, we had one player in chat saying that he was baiting, trying to get his teammate the kill record. And number two, it's not TDM. They were intentionally standing outside of the hard point. The objective of the game is to get hard point points, so they weren't playing to the best of their ability. They were sitting around trying to get kills. That's straight up.
Yeah, on that P2 rotation, they were literally all up on balcony farming kills, just leaving the hard point open. They can sit there and say, what do you mean we couldn't break the point all you want, but it's literally on stream of them standing there just chilling, not even trying. So Again, I like all the Zygnus players, but that was super unsportsmanlike.
Yep. Serious, you can come back in a week.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry if your reaction to that is you guys are soft, then you just don't comprehend the rules that we just stated. Is getting beat 250 to 0 disrespectful? That they didn't get.
No, because that was you trying to the best of your ability.
Exactly.
Right? Like that's yeah, we've seen 250 zeros.
Yeah.
Or did we see a 250 or was 251 was the best? I know we saw a 251.
They didn't get DQ'd because they were disrespectful. They got DQ'd because they didn't play to the best of their ability. And it was... I'm not going to say it was harassment. I don't think their intent was to harass the other team, but it was very obviously disrespectful. So... All right. So they DQ the map. We are going to play map 2? We have players that have left the lobbies. I don't know what's...
Changes up the math real big if that's the case.
All right, we are, I think, gonna go on a short break. I don't know if we have like an intermission screen. Know what you guys can check out. Bobby Talks, episode 3 is out now.
There you go. You're gonna watch it now.
I'm gonna play that on stream while we get everything sorted.
And make sure we're muted, Bobby.
Yeah. 1 second. Maybe my methods. So for those of you who missed out on episodes above me, I don't. But this week I have two. What's good, everybody? We are back with another episode of Bobby Talks. So for those of you who missed out on episodes 1 and 2, definitely make sure you check it out by clicking the link somewhere up above me. I don't see. But this week I have two of the best players in the EU competitive scene. Number one, we've got Jim.
What's good, Bobby?
And number two, we've got Head for Death.
Hello, people.
So, as most of you guys know, there's always been some fun give and take between the EU and NA competitive scenes. Honestly, I would say it's probably the closest thing that we have to a rivalry in competitive Call of Duty Mobile. And a lot of the top teams have gone back and forth with each other, both on social media and also against each other in the game. So actually, in preparation of playing on EU servers, I thought I would do a little bit of warming up. So we did something a little bit different from what we usually do. This is what peak NA sniping looks like. Okay, yeah, that curved, so that one doesn't count. It's EU server, so we're lagging on that one. All right, you know what? I'm done. All right, so maybe my methods for practicing were a little bit unorthodox, but you know what? How hard can EU servers really be? I think I'm ready to go regardless of the amount of practice that I've got. All right, so right off the bat, Jim, what do you think is the biggest difference between EU and NA?
Well, the biggest difference for me in competitive, it's the meta's very different.
So what really differentiates EU meta from NA meta?
So for like last season of comp, I noticed that it was all DRH and not many SMGs, but this season it's all SMGs, whereas in EU, the SMG meta was coming in last season already. That's what I've took from it.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's definitely changed a lot over the past season. And honestly, it wasn't really because of nerfs and buffs. I think probably EU, especially from my perspective as somebody who casts a lot of competitive North America, it's definitely changed a lot, and probably in large part due to the way that it's changed in EU. All right, so Head for Death, have you ever played on North America servers before?
I have played both in Ranked and Scrims a few times, and it was really fun, but of course, because of the ping difference, sometimes it's a bit hard to kill people, but other than that, it's great.
So setting aside the ping difference, did you actually feel like the competition was any more difficult than EU?
It's really hard to say because I did not necessarily play the best teams. And of course in EU, because I scrim all the time, I always play the best teams. So I can't really compare both. But I think the level is pretty close between both regions.
All right. Well, sounds good to me. Personally, I've seen some of Ferg's videos, and to me, it looks like EU servers are a little bit easier, but I haven't really played on them in 4 to 5 seasons, so I am interested to see what this is going to look like, and hopefully this will just be some good old-fashioned pub stomping. With that being said, during my little practice session, I actually did end up picking our loadout themes, so I'm going to be taking a look at those right now. So we got loadout number 1 and loadout number 2. Jim, do you have a preference?
Oh, we'll go with loadout 2.
Okay, Head for Death, do you disagree, or are we good to go with that one?
We're good to go with that one.
All right, loadout 2 it is. Let's see what it's gonna be. All right, well, Jim, it looks like you picked correctly because we are gonna be running with snipers.
No!
We're going to be running with snipers today.
No!
Love to see it. Love to see it.
No. I do not agree.
So,
Let's have some fun
mean,
then.
Head for Death, I know you're an SMG primary player. Do you feel like you're gonna be at a massive disadvantage with this, or do you think you're gonna be able to keep up?
Well, I think it's gonna be okay because we're playing pubs, but I'm facing Jim.
Oh no,
you know,
we're playing ranked still.
Oh, we're playing ranked?
Yeah, we're just pub stomping. I mean, ranked is easy. It's the
Okay.
equivalent of
Yeah.
pub
Oh, it's
stomping.
fun.
Yeah.
But you know, Jim is one of the best EU snipers of all time, so yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard.
I mean,
But we'll see. We'll have fun.
you're also playing with like the greatest sniper of all time in all
Oh
of
yeah.
Call of Duty Mobile.
An
so.
A45 lover. Oh,
Yeah,
very
exactly.
popular. Oh,
Number
yeah,
one
very famous.
NA45 player. So, all right, Jim, you're the sniper expert here. What is your go-to sniper and why?
So my go-to sniper is always a Locust. I've used Locust since it was put into COD Mobile, and for me, it's just miles above any other sniper. So I think we're gonna go with Locust.
All right, are you a stopping power user or an FMJ user?
Well, I'm an FMJ and no stopping power normally, but I think we're gonna switch it up.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you have a loadout made for us right now?
I do. So we're
Alright.
going with my championship sniper that I used in COD Champs for last year. The exact same build I used last year.
All right, I'm ready.
Right, so we'll start with its YKM lightweight short barrel.
All right.
Then we've got OWC skeleton stock.
All right.
Then we have FMJ.
All right.
And then we have stopping power
Oh, okay.
and stippled grip save.
All right. No OWC tactical laser.
Nah, this is the one I used. I mained this Locust for probably 6 months plus until swapping.
Wow. Okay. I've actually never
Yeah.
tried this one, but the no laser does make sense, especially in search and destroy settings.
Yeah, it's a lot slower than a normal one, but I think you'll be surprised.
All right. I'm excited. Well, now that everybody's got their loadouts ready to go, I guess it's time to see whether or not I'm going to be able to make it on EU servers.
Good luck.
Thank you. Jim, why are you banned from rank for 21 minutes?
I knew it. I knew it.
Did you disconnect like 17 times? Oh, we can
My
play the
bad.
new coastal map. I haven't even
Oh,
gotten
yeah.
to play that yet, so
I
that'll be
haven't
fun.
played it either. I haven't played it either. So
All right, well, there we go. Well, I guess we're going to be playing coastal. Let's go.
looks like we
I
are.
never played this map actually.
Oh, it gave us S&D.
Bye bye. No
Oh,
SMG and it's
That's
SMG as
hilarious.
well.
All right, let's see what
What
this
is my
feels
luck?
like. All right, Jim, you get the first question. What was your path to becoming a COD Mobile Pro player?
Honestly, it was through friends at IRL. The first time I touched this game was through one of my friends' phones. This is my first ever mobile game, and after playing it on my friend's phone, I downloaded it, ended up grinding, and here I am.
You said it was your first mobile game? Oh, I just collided.
This is my first mobile game, yeah.
Peter, cut out everything that happened before the collab. Okay, so I'm assuming you probably had some Call of Duty experience prior to this then?
Yeah, I played console for a long time. I've played every Call of Duty since about COD 4, so I've always been a big Call of Duty fan.
All right. So, Head for Death, what was your path to becoming a pro player in COD Mobile?
So actually, I used to play competitively in rural survival.
That's where I came from.
Yeah, I know. And then when they announced Call of Duty Mobile, I was super excited. So I started playing from pre-season 2 actually, and then I made my team around season 1, and then I just grinded a lot and made my way up to tier 1 level.
Yeah, I do think the amount of attention Call of Duty Mobile is getting this year, esports wise, could be huge for us like pro players.
Yeah, it seems like they are working on getting more grassroots things started as well, and not just that one big tournament, but really developing things beyond just the one big tournament that they're going to have. So it's exciting to see, and definitely having the backing and kind of like a pool of teams that are already wanting to get in CDL teams is exciting as well, just because you have people that are already naturally invested in Call of Duty and wanting to see it thrive. Top frag, by the way, just want that on the record.
We don't have to. I think I did 3 kills.
It's all right. It's all right. Sometimes, you win some, you lose some. You know.
Yeah, that's life.
Yeah.
All right. So, how easy is it for you guys to tilt when you're playing Call of Duty Mobile?
Ay. Don't get me started.
Very easy. I'll tell you why it makes me tilt is because like I'm used to playing competitive. We don't even play with specialists in the game, so we go into a ranked game and we're used to thermites being banned. We're used to like no gas grenades being banned, and you jump into that from going from a private lobby against pros to against like casual players. It's so triggering with thermites everywhere, specialists.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how to put it. As far as esports wise, I don't tilt because it's no good for the team. It's not how you win. But when it comes to relaxing, having a bit of fun on a ranked match, yeah, definitely tilt.
Yeah, I feel like I experienced that a good amount. Obviously, I don't play a ton of competitive. For the most part, it's just like show matches and that type of thing. But it definitely impacts your team. And also to a certain degree, like, it's almost relieving to tilt, like just letting out some of the frustration that you feel, you know?
Punch something real quick.
Just break an iPad, you know?
Yo, I do that all the time, bro. I live for that.
Are you still at 1? Oh my gosh. I think there's
I
a
got
bot on
that
our
too.
team that has more kills
There's
than you.
one.
So, what? Can you not say that? Can we cut that out, Peter? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about tilting in competitive, what's the best way that you avoid that?
I think it's having good teammates that when you tilt in, they tell you focus up, let's go.
Yeah.
It's time to reset. I honestly think it comes from one of the best thing for me is having good teammates around you. Definitely, that's the best thing for me.
But sometimes it's also, I don't know, because you're human, so you're gonna rage eventually, you know. So sometimes you have to let it out. But during, for example, stage 4 last year, there were some moments, you know, that were to be annoying. But because you're playing for such a high price, you just in your head you're so focused that you don't even tilt. You straight up just call out for the team. Because of course, if you start tilting, it's not gonna help out.
All right. So, Jim, have you always been a sniper in Call of Duty Mobile, or is that something that you picked up like later on in your time playing the game?
See, I used to play on an iPhone, and I used to try snipe. I love sniping, but I just wasn't that good at it. But I bought a gaming phone and picked up a sniper and never looked back. Every game sniping, I probably got over 1,000 games sniping, and that's like competitive games. But yeah, my favorite gun for sure. I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't snipe in Search and Destroy. I really don't know what I'd do.
So I know you use shotguns a lot as well. Are there specific mechanics of the game that make it easier for a sniper player to use shotguns?
I think there is. It's the same if you're running around like quick scoping. It's the same like one shot type gun, and it definitely makes it a lot easier if you can snipe to then pick up a shotgun and get 3 pieces, 4 pieces.
Oh, I'm throwing.
No, you can get it. You can get it.
Oh my god.
No.
The choke.
You is better. GG.
Shotguns are great fun, and we'll see what rules we're given for the next major. And I do quietly hope that shotguns are allowed because they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I know shotguns are like one of the main parts of the
Alrighty.
arena meta, which is
Exactly,
why
yeah.
it is so interesting. My gosh, I got beamed. Especially in Garena, basically the only guns that they use are QQ9, Man of War, and KRM. So
Yeah.
it is very. All right, guys, if you want to check out the rest of that, my mods will probably spam the link for that down in chat, and you can go like and subscribe to the COD Mobile Esports channel. Talk to everybody, and the ruling is as a result of violation of whatever the rule is, basically not playing the map to the best of your ability. Zygnus will DQ that map and also map 2, so Vitro will take the 2-0 win. Zygnus Black will not be affected in the quarterfinals since this is their first offense and is not persistent behavior. Is there anything I'm missing out on in that day?
That should pretty much be it. Aside from the ruling, I don't think that affects our actual games. I think everybody is locked in, so we should still have the same teams playing. But yes, it will be DQ of the map there, and then players, per the ruling, suspended for the rest of that series. And since it's the whole team, obviously we won't be able to field a roster for Zygnus Black. They don't have enough sub slots to participate. So that will be pretty much the end of that.
All right. Well, appreciate you guys watching. Sorry for keeping you guys waiting. I just wanted to make sure. The primary thing we're trying to do is making sure we're consistent across all of the different Mobile Mayhem regions and our ruling in this, because it is a violation of the rules. And whether you guys like it or not, rules are rules, and we do have to enforce them. But appreciate you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, follow, and we will catch you guys in the next one on Tuesday.